Hey guys, it's Friday at 6:47 p.m. Um, I'm starting the stream a little bit earlier than usual because it's not. I'm not training today. It's shit weather. I could be going gym, but yeah, I don't know if I would like to ride my bike there because that's how I get to the gym. But anyway, before I started the stream, I was just looking at like the dates of some things, right? And today might be like we going on to week 3 or the end of week 2, but I don't really know how. Like, I'll show you what I mean. Hold on. Mm-mm-mm. I don't know if this is. I don't know if it'll make more sense to me if I'm saying this out loud because I was just thinking about it in my head. Okay, so obviously this is day 12, okay? Right? Day 12. However, if we go to week 1, okay? From the 1st to the 7th, okay? 1st to the 7th. Um, yeah. So recorded day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and then day 7. But I didn't record on day 7. However, I did an overview of week 1 after that. I don't know what day that was on there. Like, I actually don't. Was it day 6? Wait, this makes no sense to me. Did I do an overview stream on day 8 or day 7? Because it's... Oh, wait. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, I didn't put a day, did I? This is day 6. I did not record. So day 7, this one here, should be... No, this is week 2. This is the start of week 2. Yeah. So it was before day 7. Day 6. But that doesn't make sense. But it said I didn't record on... Oh, this is really just hurting my brain now. So the 7th of November, right? I didn't stream on the 7th of November, correct. The next stream after that is on the 9th. So I missed a fair few flipping days. 2-hour stream. Okay. So day 6 was... I don't know if that makes sense to me. Day 6 was recorded on the 9th of November. But did I start week 2 on the 9th? I did. Yeah, I did. So on the 9th, I did a... Oh, this is so fucked up. Oh my god! I don't actually know I'm streaming. I could probably figure this out by myself, but... So day 6. That's not day 6, though, is it? But it is labelled day 6. I don't know. I really don't want to like reset this challenge either. But it's made me confused. We could just go from here, to be honest. This makes sense. Kind of. No, not really. Day 6 was on the 8th. I'm just not highlighting this so I can actually see. Okay, maybe not like that, but... Day 6 was... started on the 8th. 9th. What am I doing? Where's the 10th? Where's the day 8? Am I stupid? Day 7? Yeah, okay. Day 8. Boom. Boom. Day 8 was on the 10th. Day 7 was on the 9th. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Well, yeah, okay. It makes sense to me now. Kinda. So today would be firstly day 12, and it's the 14th today, which also means this is the end of. After today would be the end of week 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 2. So I think we go through this today, right? We go through some stuff today in the program, and then at the end we do a overview, and then week 3 starts tomorrow. I feel like I should start putting this in my Google Calendar. Every so 1, 2, 3, 4. On the wait. 2. And this is gonna be overview of week 3. Boom. And then yeah. How do I add time? What the hell? What the flip is? What am I doing? Boom. 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 And it's gonna be week 4. Okay. Nice. I think everything is fine now, so an overview of week 3, start of week 4. Okay, makes sense. Okay, I just wasted like 10 minutes looking at that, but at least it makes sense to me now. It's just literally, it's so weird just because I've missed 2 days, so I'm always 2 days behind. So it'll be day 12, 14th of November, day 13, 15th of November. Anyway, we'll move on. Gives you some motivation to not miss days and stuff. Okay. Okay, what the flip? Okay. So yeah, this is the start of day 12 on the 14th of November. And yeah. Let's get school up. We can close this down now. Oh yeah, I have to talk about as well the last two this one's a red. This is like an orange. If you don't know what I'm referring to, just go back and watch the other videos. But this is very bad. This is okay. Still not very good. This is very okay as well. Hey, we'll try to go for a longer stream then today. See how much we get through.
We created more.
I could make myself a coffee. I'll see how far we get into it. If we finish 1.3 and go on to 1.4, then I'll make myself a coffee and try. Yeah. This is so bad though. It's taken us like more. It's gonna take us more than 2 weeks to finish this. It's just very upsetting.
More.
Let's try. Lock in then. Phone is going away on behind me, out of sight. I'm going to plug it in very really quickly. I'll be back in a sec. Alright guys, I'm back. I got a little snack, but let's get to it.
Cause, we create more effect, and this thing spirals and
We're carrying on from feedback loops.
spirals and spirals. And when this happens, a feedback loop is present. So with time, this loop compounds and basically flywheels is another word for it, creating some truly extraordinary and unbelievable results. This is why life isn't fair, okay? This is why the rich get richer. It's just feedback loops, because the more money you have, the more money you can make. And the more money that you can make and that you do make, the more money you have, which means the more money you can make. And then it just cycles round and round. So let's go through some examples. So an example of a feedback loop would be let's say you go to a comedy club and the comedian finishes their skit and they finish their talk. And one person starts clapping. And then because one person starts clapping, someone else starts clapping. And then because someone else started clapping, somebody else starts clapping. And it loops around until everyone's clapping. And then everyone's clapping, and then someone sits down and stops clapping. And then somebody else next to them sits down and stops clapping. And then because that person sat down, somebody else does. And then because that person did again, somebody else does, and then bang. And then suddenly everyone stops clapping. And then the same thing is true with, getting fit. So let's say you start working out. Well, the more you work out, the more you're going to want to eat clean, because otherwise it feels like a waste. And the more you eat clean, the more you're going to want to work out, because otherwise it feels like a waste. And so you work out and you eat clean, and because you're eating clean, you're working out more, and because you're working out more, you're eating cleaner, and then this thing just cycles. And the same thing is true with getting fat. So if you skip workouts, then you're more likely to eat bad because you're like, well, I didn't go to the gym today, so what's the point in eating my 150 grams of protein? There's not much point. And then because you ate bad, you skip the next workout, and then because you skip the next workout, you eat bad again, and then it just flywheels and cycles and cycles and cycles. The same thing happened with COVID-19, you know? So one person gets COVID, and then another person gets COVID because that person got COVID. And then because that person got COVID, another person gets it. And then it just cycles round into a vicious amplification loop. And this is how COVID just came out of nowhere and went bang, exponential. You know, started slow and then bang. And then the same thing is true with how COVID went away, you know, or sort of how the infection rate died down, you know, where, you know, where basically we were like, okay, we'll do social distancing so this virus can't spread. So there was less contact, which meant less infections. And because there was less infections as a result of less contact, then we continued to social distance. And the more we continued to social distance, the less infections there were. And so the governments just continued to mandate, you know, being locked in your house. I mean, I'm not getting into the political argument there, but you know, they mandated the lockdowns and stuff, right? And the more they mandated the lockdowns, the less infections there were. And so the more the government locked us down, the less infections, until eventually, like, you know, well, you know what happened? It apparently went away. And there was so little infections that we felt it was safe to go back outside and stuff. And it's up to you to form your political judgment on COVID. I couldn't really care less, to be honest, but you get the point, right? So things can spike up and then spike down. So positive feedback loops, also known as amplification mechanisms, they basically cause things to quickly exponentially spike and then quickly spike down just as fast as they spiked up. And it's kind of like this, right? So what happens is it's an exponential loop, right? So at the beginning, it's really slow, really slow. And then it's, because of all these things are feeding back on each other, at a certain point of critical mass, it just goes bang, it explodes. So one person starts clapping, second person starts clapping, then you've got 4 people clapping, then you've got 8, and you've got like, you know, maybe then you've got like 10 people, and then you've got like 15, and then because 15 people are clapping, suddenly 30 people start clapping. And then suddenly the whole room's clapping, like real quick. And then, you know, up here, like 100 people clapping, one person stops, you know, and then suddenly like 3 people stop, and then suddenly like, you know, all these, and then bang, 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 and it just goes down, you know? So nothing can grow exponentially forever. Even the universe itself, which is exponentially growing by the second, as per the theory, will eventually stop growing and contract and shrink. And it will shrink exponentially, right? And if you don't believe me, well, you can look into this, not to give you too much of an existential crisis, but the heat death of the universe, also known as the Big Chill, which I think is one of the coolest scientific theory names I've ever heard in my life. But, you know, the heat death of the universe is basically is a theory that explains that like the universe is eventually going to expand so much that it won't be able to anymore, because nothing can grow forever. It's kind of like an observable rule. Now, fortunately enough, we're not going to be around, and neither will any of our descendants for this, but it's true, so we don't have to worry about it. Now, the same is true with wealth, economic growth, countries, empires, companies, brands, etc. Everything that grows exponentially, with enough time applied, will contract and shrink just as fast as it grew. For example, you know, the graphs below show the growth and decline of the Roman and British empires based on landmass or number of countries ruled. You'll find this phenomenon everywhere, right? So, you know, for example, we've got the Roman Empire here, based on square kilometers or square miles of landmass. And we can see, you know, minus 500, you know, BC, and then, you know, the Republic sort of starts around here, for any of you familiar with the Roman Empire. And then, you know, around the time of sort of Julius Caesar and Pompey and Augustus, you know, we have this big old spike. And then, you know, we get like different emperors in, like Trajan or Hadrian or whatever. And, you know, then Vespasian. And then suddenly, like, it kind of flattens off a little bit, and then bang, we just see this really quick decline. So what went up really quickly comes down pretty much just as fast. And then the same thing is true with the British Empire. So British Empire starts in, you know, 1600s. And, you know, it kind of grows and grows and grows and grows. And then we have, like, around the time of the Napoleonic Wars, like around here. And then just huge quick spike, you know, all the way up into, you know, World War II. And then suddenly after World War II, like maybe 20 years later, just bang, just straight down. Like what went up really quickly went down way faster. And this is feedback loops, right? So with the British Empire, for example, like, one colony rebels and, gains their freedom from the British Empire, right? And then that rumor spreads to another colony, and then they rebel because another person rebelled, and then it just gets out of control. Now, you might then ask, well, what's the point in even trying? But my point is that, like, all of these graphs, it takes hundreds or thousands of years for anything to happen. So in your lifetime, you can build exponential wealth. That's fine. But your wealth is attached to an economic machine that in 500 years or 1,000 years or 200 years or whatever will very likely contract and, fall apart. Like the United States of America is another example. Like the growth of the United States of America and the growth of the economy, it doesn't last forever. Like if the universe is going to die, then so will the USA, and so will the UK, and so will all of these, Russia, China, all these countries eventually die. Now, fortunately enough, we don't have to concern ourselves with any of this because, like, it's all, like, the USA is only like 200 years old or whatever. So, it's going to be fine. Like, don't worry. I don't want to give you too much of a crisis here. Let's just stay focused on making money. But I'm making this point that, like, what goes up really quickly usually comes down really quickly. And the same thing is true with people that suddenly win the lottery. Like, you see people who have no experience with financial management, and they just suddenly become like multimillionaires overnight. And then they spend that money usually just as quickly as they earned it or made it. They didn't really earn anything, to be honest. And that's how it happens. So let me give you a few more examples of positive feedback loops or amplification. And because this is why, this is why this thing happens. This is why we have this big, whoosh all of a sudden. And this is why, this is why 20% of the people in the world own 80% of the wealth. It's why like 80% of sunlight is absorbed by 20% of the trees. Because, if one tree starts absorbing just a little bit of sunlight, it's going to grow just a little bit bigger. And if it grows just a little bit bigger, it's going to absorb just a little bit more sunlight. And if it absorbs a little bit more sunlight, it's just going to grow a little bit bigger. And you just compound that over time, you've got a pretty damn big tree taking up a lot of damn sunlight. It's all about these feedback loops. And the same thing is true with money. And I'm going to give you some more examples here. So this is a huge one. And we're going to talk about this in the mindset module. If you believe you are successful, or you believe you can become successful, then you're going to become successful. Like, think about this for a second. Like, if you really believe in your heart of hearts this is going to work, then you're going to start creating the effect. Like, you're going to start building your foundations. You're going to start getting clients. You're going to start doing outreach and making money. And then when you become successful and you start actually making some money, then you're going to believe even more that you are successful. And the more you believe you are successful, the more successful you're going to become. And it's just going to go whoosh. And, then you're going to have one of these big exponential things. But it's going to take a year or two before that happens. And then, people buying a stock on the stock market. So let's take the Tesla stock, for example. If people buy it, then the price goes up. And if the price goes up, more people buy it.
Like last stream, I'm going to mute when I am not talking just because of background noise. But when I talk, I will unmute.
And then it goes woo, 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 and it feeds around itself. And then out of nowhere, people start selling the stock. And then, the price goes down and everyone starts selling it and it goes up and down and up and down. And, another example is the Imperium Academy community. So people are in the community posting their wins. And you should do this. If you get a win, if you sign your first client or make some money, like, post your wins in the community.
Are there actually any wins in the community at the moment? Do you think? Wins. Fair play. Fair enough. There's actually people making money. Hell yeah. I love the progress, everyone.
Right? Just specifically business wins. No one wants to see your shirtless body transformation, trust me. As great as it may be, we're here to talk business, right? Not self-improvement per se. Anyway, so people who post their wins in the group. So some of you are going to do what I asked you to, and the 20% that will actually get results, and you're going to post pictures of your results and your clients and your bank accounts and money in the group. And the more people that post wins in the group, the harder the rest of everybody will work, and the harder everybody else works, the more results they're going to get, and the more results they're going to put in the group, and the more results that go in the group, the harder everybody works, and you just go boom, boom, boom. This thing just goes round and round and round, and you build this amazing flywheel machine for client results that encourages people to do the work. This is why I'm just consistently stressing to you, remember this stuff and do the work. Remember this stuff and do the work. Information can only change your life if you remember it, and it will only change your life if you apply it. Do the work, do the work, do the work, right? For talking of which, funnily enough, doing the work, getting results. So you're going to do the work, get results. The more results you get, the more you're going to want to work. The more you're going to want to work, the more you work, the more results you get. And then it just goes round and round. Same thing is true with like going to a party. So if you're at a party and then people start leaving, then suddenly more people start leaving, and then before you know it, no one's at your party. Definitely didn't happen to me when I was a kid. I'm joking. Positive feedback. So panic and people running. So one person starts panicking and sprinting away from something, and then suddenly somebody else starts doing the same thing, because we are by nature, social proof animals, which means we just copy people without thinking, because it's the safer option, right? Like if you're in a mall and someone just starts sprinting away from something, you're probably going to run away without thinking too much about it, because it's biologically sound. There's no real argument against it, because it's like, well, if that person's running away from something, chances are there's something to run away from, and I'd rather take the risk of looking like an idiot than fuck around and find out. But anyway, the more people that are running, the more panic there is. And the more panic there is, the more people that run until everyone's running. And then, then you've got like a stampede. And this is how like mobs form. This is how protests form. This is how this is how things just go rapidly exponential. It's how empires are built. It's how countries grow. It's how businesses grow. It's how you can track like Facebook's users over time, like just flywheel, flywheel, flywheel. So some real-time examples for you here. And let me just do this quickly. So some real-time examples for you here on YouTube. So this is a Google Earth time lapse, and it's going to show you some of the biggest cities on Earth that have sort of been developed in like the last 30 years, give or take, 40 years, 50 years, whatever. So 35 years, the urban population's grown by 2.3 billion people. So funny enough, this is where I am right now with Dubai. So we're in Dubai, and you can see 1984, there's 300,000 people in Dubai, okay? 35 years ago. Actually, this is 38 years ago, right? But anyway, so look, we can see like by 1990, so like 4 years later, a little bit of progress. And then, a couple of years after that, a little bit more progress. And then a little bit more progress, a little bit more. And like 10 years later, a little bit more, little bit. And then suddenly, like out of nowhere, this thing just goes bang. Like the Palm Jumeirah appears, which is where I live. Palm Jebel Ali appears, which is on the left. The marina appears, the islands appear, and this thing becomes like a metropolis, just like real quick. You can sort of see. And another example I'll give you here is the Pearl River Delta in China. So in 1984, this thing has got nearly 10 million people. And now this is a place in China that you've probably never heard of. It's got like 60 million people. Like the population of the UK fits into this thing. And so let's have a look at this. 1984, it looks a bit developed, right? There's a lot of farmland and stuff. There's a good river, good water source, good place for civilization to grow. And then just out of nowhere, slowly, like 10 years, looks kind of similar, not all that different, bit of growth. And then like, bang, look at this. It just goes ballistic. 81 million people. How's that for exponential growth? Nearly 10xing a population. And then another example. This is Las Vegas in Nevada, right, in America. We start with 530,000 people, little town, kind of. Well, it's more than a town, really, but 35 years. Look at this thing, just growing. And, we've gone from, we've 4x, 5x the population. Another example for you, some bacterial growth. So what you can see here, a little bit into the time lapse, there's some little specks of bacteria here. So, you know, it's linear. There's not much bacteria on this thing. The growth is slow. But as more bacteria grows, then more bacteria grows. Because the way bacteria grows is by duplicating itself, right? So, you know, it just goes and goes and goes. And then suddenly out of nowhere, bang, like it's just like a colony. It just takes over the whole thing and there's just loads of bacteria, you know. There's a story about an ancient king, and I don't think it's a true story. It's definitely not a true story. There's a kid, and this kid does the king a favor. I'm just going to make it up. Let's say the kid protects the queen from an assassin. Okay, and the kid goes to the king, and the king's obviously really grateful for this kid. You know, queen's grateful for the kid. Queen's alive, king's happy. The kid goes to the king's court, and the king says to the kid, "Whatever can I do to repay you? Anything that is within my kingdom I will give you. Tell me what you want." And the kid's very smart. And what he does is he says to the king, "What I would like is for you to give me 2 pieces of grain, you know, or 2 pieces of gold. I want 2 pieces of gold. And what I want you to do for every single square on the chessboard, or on a chessboard, I want you to double how much you gave me before." And the king's like, "Done, granted." And as soon as that's done, the kid is now the king. Now why? Well, think about it. We go from 2 to 4. It's just 4 pieces of gold, not that deep. But then we go from 4 to 8, still not that deep. But then 8 to 16, and 16 to 32. Like, you know, suddenly that gets a little bit out of hand. You know, we go from 16 to 32, and then we go from 32 to 64, and then from 64 to 128, and we're not even done with the back row of the chessboard yet. I can't remember how many squares are on a chessboard. Maybe it's like 64, but just Google right now, like 2 to the power of 64. Like that's like the whole universe.
I want to see. What? How big is that number? What the hell? What the? It's like 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000. Wait, wait, how many billions? Yeah, Jesus.
It's like these exponents, man, these power laws, like they're dangerous, and they are viciously, you know, willing to amplify anything you give them. So that's the story about the kid and the king, and how he takes over the kingdom, and that king was not a very smart king. The clearest example I can give you of feedback loops: how do you turn $1,000 into $120,000 without doing any work, with no effort, without doing anything except one thing? It's pretty simple. This here is a compound interest calculator. So if we take $1,000, okay, let's say you've got $1,000 right now, and let's say that we take a 60-year time horizon with an estimated interest rate of 7%. So what this means is that every year you're going to get a 7% return on your initial investment, which is kind of typical because that's like the S&P 500 average return. You can do a 7% return pretty easily. Now, we're not going to account for tax or anything. It's going to compound annually. So it's just $1,000, right? Just $1,000. We're putting $1,000 in, it's 7% return of 60 years. No big deal, right? Well, if we calculate what happens, in 60 years, you'll have $57,000. And if you hold it for 61 years, it goes from 57 to 62. Then if we do just an extra 9 years, suddenly you've got $113,000. Like, you know, and let's give another example. Let's say that you put in $5,000 right now. And let's say every single month, you're willing to put in $100. Like not much, just you're going to put $100 in, you know, every year. And let's say you give it 65 years, you know, compounding it, let's just say an 8% return, just 8%, it's an extra percent, right? Calculate, well, that's how $5,000 with a little bit of a, you know, $100 a month investment, that becomes $3 million over time. And we can see how this just compounds. And this is happening because of compound interest, which is basically a flywheel, which means that when you put $1 in and you get a small return on that dollar, then it loops back around and creates more of the money, and then it loops back around again and creates more. So if we put just $1 in, no investment additionally, we give that dollar 100 years, it's 7% return, what do we get? Yeah, so $1 becomes $867. So I know you might not, well, I'd love for you to be here in 100 years, but let's be honest, right? You know, this is a pretty interesting thought experiment. And this shows the power of compound interest, and this shows the power of feedback loops. You can turn $1 into $900 if you're just willing to wait. Now, you know, obviously you're not going to wait 100 years, but you get the point, right? So this is what I mean when I say things take time, okay? It is actually possible to create these ridiculous exponential effects if you just stick to them. So if you put this $1,000 in and it's like, it's so funny. Like, let me just explain this again because this reiterates my point. So, you know, let's say you put $10,000 in, okay? And you're going to allow it to compound for 70 years with an interest rate of 7%, right? Well, okay, in 70 years, if you put 10K in, you know, you'd have $1.1 million. This is real math, right? Let's say that you put this $10,000 in and, you know, you get 7 years in, you know, or you get 6 years in to your investment. And you're like, I'm not a millionaire yet. I invested 5 years ago. This isn't working. And then you just take the money out. You're an idiot. Like, this is just what people do. Like, they don't give it enough time to get to, like, in this point where it just goes whoosh and just flies up. So changing your niche or changing the problem you solve people or changing to a different business model after 3 or 4 months of trying consulting is exactly the same as putting $10,000 in the stock market in the S&P 500 or putting $10,000 in a savings account with a low interest rate and removing it after a year because you're not a millionaire yet. It's exactly the same premise, okay? So don't do it. Now, we have positive feedback loops, which is obviously these things that create...
It's basically like if I'm going in, I'm going all in. Like, there's no point of me backing out after 6 months because it'll just be a waste of my time. I might as well have done something else because it won't amount to anything. I need to like let it marinate, you know? Not marinate, but yeah, compound. That's the word, you know? So
exponential result.
Yeah, I'll give it a year and see where I get. And if it's not done in a year, then I'll do another year. And if it's not done in 2, I'll do 3.
I'm also going to make you aware of this, although they're not that important to understanding how to get exponential effect. We also have negative feedback loops. So positive feedback loops, they exist to amplify a cause away.
I have definitely fallen into this somewhere. I think I know what he's about to say. It's like a negative feedback loop could be like, you know, you bunk class once and now it becomes like not a regular thing, but you know that you can bump class, so then you bump it again, bunk it again, and then you just end up not going to class for like the entire term.
From a base. So like we're really trying to see some massive growth. But negative feedback loops attempt to regulate and control systems towards a base. So negative feedback loops exist to maintain the status quo. So for example, like a negative feedback loop could be a air conditioning unit in your house. So let's say you've got a room and you set the air conditioning to 20 degrees Celsius. If the room gets too hot, then the air conditioning will cool down the air and, you know, bring it down, but then it will overshoot. And if it gets too cold, then it will increase the heat and then it will, you know, balance out and maintain this degree of...
I just want to see for curiosity reasons how... No, I won't. I thought I could finish the entire week 1 today, but I don't think that's happening.
20 degrees.
We'll get to like
this
1.5, maybe. I don't know.
This is exactly how rocket guided missile systems work as well in the military. Is they have a target, and then the military will shoot the sort of autonomous guided rocket, and the rocket will adjust its course accordingly in the air in accordance to the coordinates it's trying to hit and the coordinates of where it is now. And so this is how you get these sort of AI rockets, which are kind of terrifying, that can use negative feedback to achieve a point of stasis or maintenance to hit a target. Same thing is true for systems in the body. So we have homeostasis, which is you might be familiar with from biology class, where you have your brain as a sensor. If you get too cold, then you shiver, and that brings your temperature back up to 37 degrees internally, which is where enzymes are catalyzed and we remain healthy and alive. 37.5, I think it is, I can't remember. But then if we get too hot, if you sit in a sauna, for example, and that's the stimulus, then you'll start to sweat and you'll start to pant to try and cool yourself down. And that's what dogs are doing when they're panting, is they're trying to cool themselves down, right? This happens with all of your neurochemistry as well. This happens with your hunger hormones. It happens with your sleep hormones. It happens with your digestion. It happens with your lungs. Like if you right now breathe really quickly and try and hyperventilate, then what your body's going to try and do is try and slow your breathing down so you don't die from oxygen poisoning. Although I don't know that's even a thing, to be honest, but you get the point. So if a system's in decline, like for example the Roman Empire in 135 AD, and there is a negative sentiment attached to the decline, if something bad is happening, and you perceive it to be a bad thing, that does not mean it's a negative feedback loop. Okay. The negative in terms of feedback loop and negative in terms of sentiment are two very different words. Okay, if things are exponential, it's always positive. So if you're seeing an exponential curve up or down, then what you're observing is a.
So you can have an exponential curve in skipping class. No. You find out with your mates we have a teacher that doesn't really care, and it's oh, we skip class. And now we skip class. We're just going to skip class again because now we're too deep in it. And then you're up here and you've just never fucking turned up to class.
Positive.
So it's an exponential
feedback loop, typically.
Class.
Now you could say it's a negative feedback loop because it's like a maintenance thing and it kicks in, but you kind of get the point, right? So
that could be a stupid example that I just gave, but my bad.
The point I'm making here is that positive or negative in terms of feedback denote the direction instead of an emotional sentiment. So positive feedback loops, we're moving away from something. Negative feedback loops, we're moving towards something. Okay? Just because the Roman Empire declined, it was a positive feedback loop that did it, not a negative one. So the sentiment is detached from the meaning of the feedback loop. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, don't worry about it, but it doesn't really matter too much. I wanted to just tell you. So now let's talk about second order consequences. So now that you're starting to build your understanding of this wonderful world and how exponential things occur and why things happen, let's discuss this pretty crazy thing that, if you get this, man, my goodness, does life suddenly start, this thing, if you can learn from this video and if you can learn this knowledge and remember this knowledge and learn to think in second order consequences, you will beat a lot of people in life. You'll become very successful. So let's dive into it. So actions have consequences. We know this to be true. Cause, effect. Action, consequence, cause, effect. Have you heard this before? You've probably heard this phrase before where when you're a kid, you'll do something bad and then your mum or your dad will be like, oh, Timmy, actions have consequences. And that's basically you being grounded, right? Well, if you run someone over, then you're going to prison. If you cut your leg, then you're going to bleed. If you make cold calls, you're going to make sales. Action, consequence, cause, effect. But here's the real kicker that no one understands. Actions have consequences, but consequences have consequences. And if that's not a pin drop moment for you, you need to pay attention, because consequences of consequences have consequences to infinity. This is something that you need. I know it might seem like you're a bit like, what the hell? I don't get it, but it will become clear when I give you an example. So these consequences are called second order consequences. And second order consequences, this is how billionaires think. This is how really intelligent genius, idiosyncrasy in business or science or anywhere, these guys, they think in second order consequences. So every individual action you take, everything you do, everything, with no exception, no matter what, no matter how trivial, will set off a chain reaction of consequences through time into the future that will dictate how your life ends up. Now, this is also known as the butterfly effect or the law of sensitive dependence on initial conditions.
I'll write some of this down. I just don't want him to move on from this because I cannot keep up with typing as fast as he talks, unfortunately.
And what it means is that you doing one thing right now, if we apply enough time to that action and the consequences of that action, you can end up with a completely crazy thing. Like the butterfly effect is called the butterfly effect because the theory is that if a butterfly flaps its wings in one corner of the world, then on the other side of the world it can cause like a tornado or something like that. And biologically that might not be accurate, but against second order consequences it can actually make sense. So actions set trajectories. So a trajectory is basically a line of direction of which someone is on. Okay? So for example, if you are leaving your house to drive to your grandmother's, then you are on a trajectory to go and see your grandmother. If you are in university and you want to become a doctor, then you are on a trajectory towards becoming a doctor. A trajectory is essentially a journey, and your actions set your journeys. Trajectories have sentiment, and they are either negative or positive. So a trajectory is positive if it helps you achieve, progress towards your goal. So trajectories manifest as consequences, okay? And for a trajectory to exist, there has to be time, there has to be an initial action and a consequence. And so what happens is the initial action is taken, i.e. calling your grandmother to go and to see if she's free. And then the consequences that manifest from that initial action are find keys, open door, get in car, turn car on, reverse out of drive, drive, stop at traffic light, swear at someone who just cut me off, continue driving. All life is a chain of events, and one event creates the next one. If you're at a traffic light and you run the red and then someone crashes into you, that happened because something else happened. It's cause and effect, right? So consequences along a positive trajectory make you progress from your baseline towards your goal, and consequences along a negative trajectory make you regress from your baseline away from your goal. And your baseline is basically your current situation, and your goal is what you want. So 10K a month, millionaire, healthy, good family, whatever, financial freedom. And this is how it looks, right? So trajectories, obviously your visits to your grandmother might not become exponential, right? That's not my point. But when it comes to business or health or family or relationships or financial freedom, we'll talk about finance specifically, a trajectory can be everything, but it can really be exponential. So we have the initial action here represented by these little circles. And a positive trajectory is where we take an action in the moment that triggers a chain of events that become exponential and help us achieve our goal. And it doesn't always have to be exponential, right? You can have a linear, more straight line here. But on the flip side, we have one action that's bad, and that will trigger a chain of events that will send us down to hell. And really, I can't stress enough, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your actions. And the quality of your actions is determined by whether or not you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. It's very, very simple. I can't stress enough, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your actions. And the quality of your actions is determined by whether or not you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. It's very simple to have a good, happy life. Just don't do stupid shit. and do smart shit. Like it's really not that tricky when you think about it. We all overcomplicate it, but it's really just this. And so this is how consequences work. And the key is in the word. So when you think about a consequence, like it's a sequence. It's a sequence of events that happen as a result of the ones previous to them happening. And so what we can observe here is what we would call second order consequences in real time. So we have an initial action which triggers a first order consequence or an effect. And that effect becomes the cause to create a second effect. And then that second order consequence creates a third order consequence. And then a fourth order consequence creates a fifth order consequence, which creates the sixth and the seventh all the way to X. And this is to infinity. This is to the end of the universe. This is until the Big Bang comes to a close with the heat death of the universe. And what happens here is like something happens, something else happens because it happened, and then this cause and effect chain just rumbles down. And this is why this module is called six-figure fusion. It's because this is how nuclear reactions happen. And I'm not actually that well versed in nuclear physics, but my understanding of chain reactions and nuclear fusion reactions is when like one thing causes another thing, which causes another thing and another thing and another thing until it just goes absolutely exponential. And so what we can observe here as well with these arrows denoted is feedback loops. So some consequences will feed back on previous consequences and amplify the severity of the trajectory, speeding it up and amplifying it, and then recreating consequences. So, if I do the initial action, right? And that creates the first order consequence, and that creates a second and the fourth. Then by the time I get to the fourth order consequence, this consequence might feed back and reinforce the first order consequence, which creates more of this, which creates more of this, and more of this, and more of this to create more of this. And this is how your life gets really good really quickly or really bad really quickly. And same thing here. So we've got negative and we've got positive. So negative consequences and negative trajectories, they take you away from your goal. This is where you descend into chaos, the abyss, and hell. This is how people end up homeless. This is how people end up in crippling debt. And ultimately, this is how people end up doing terrible things like committing suicide and self-harm. Like when your life is so bad that you feel that you have to physically hurt yourself to justify your damn existence to the world, it's the product of this, right? And I don't want to reduce someone's existential, terrible suffering down to a simple little diagram with a few boxes. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to make a point. This is how it happens. And on the flip side, like if you have a fantastic life, like if you live where you want, you have financial freedom, you've got the wife you want, the kids you want, the boyfriend you want, girlfriend you want, whatever, you've got an audience, people like you, you're doing meaningful work. Like I love my life, for example. I'm really happy with where I am, and I have a very good, meaningful life, and I'm on a meaningful trajectory towards more. And that's just happening because I've done enough of these good initial actions, and I've avoided the bad ones. And I've just given it like 7-8 years. It's amazing what can happen with time. And the exciting thing is I'm still just getting started. Like with my income and stuff, like I'm making like $10 million a year, $20 million a year nearly. And like, or 10 million right now, but we're pretty much on the cusp of getting to 20 pretty soon. And like, I'm just getting started. Like, I've no doubt that with enough time elapses, I'll be a billionaire. Like I will, because like if you take, if you do this interesting thing here, right? And I'm not going to tell you specifically what my net worth is because that's personal, but let's say that we take, well, I'm making $10 million a year right now, right? So let's just say that for argument's sake, that's all profit, which it's not, by the way. But let's just say that, I've got $10 million in cash, and I'm not confirming or denying that's how much I have. I'm just giving you an example, right? So let's say we take $10 million, which I think is 10 million, like this. Is that definitely, hang on, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we take $10 million. And so I'm now 27, right? So let's say that I want to see where I'm at when I'm like, I don't know, 87, right? So another, it's been a long video, guys. let's do 60 years, right? Be 87. And let's say I've got an estimated interest rate of 7.5% because I've got some financial intelligence. And let's say that I continue contributing. Let's just say with a random number in a bank account right now of $10 million, like, okay, calculate. Well, by the time I'm 87, I'll be worth $766 million. And this assumes that I don't make any more. Now, I'm not saying this is how much money I've got. It might be more, it might be less. It's up for you to decide, right? Well, I'd be a little bit disappointed if it was less, but you get the point, right? Anyway, moving on from me being a dick. So, this is going to happen. Like, if I just take this money and achieve this return and wait for this long, I'll be worth $760 million. This assumes I make no more money, right? This assumes that I don't make any more money from this business. No one else buys my thing ever. Like, let's say that I make one $10,000 a month sale to contribute to this. And I calculate that. Like, now I'm worth another 100 million. So anyway, you get the point. Works pretty well. And that's that. So this is how you can visualize these second order consequences, right? So, if we take our baseline here, which is sort of where we are right now, then we have our initial actions, okay? And the initial action will create the first order consequence, which will create the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and the eighth. And, it might not be until consequence 6 that
It's kind of crazy. Like, I mean, I'm on week 2 of this series, right? But say I really lock in and I try get done like a video a day, which is really hard because I don't get home till like 6 o'clock anyway. And I have training at like 6:30 sometimes on like Tuesdays and Thursdays. But say for some reason I ruin my sleep schedule and I try to get a video done a day. Like, that, a video done a day, another video, another video, another video. After like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. Say it was 6 days, okay? It could be like 6 weeks, okay? There has to be a point in time where I shoot up. And like I start doing, I don't know. I don't really know if like using videos would be a good example, but there's basically a time where I'm going to have some exponential growth. I'm gonna achieve a lot of things very, very fast.
Start to really tick
because of my previous actions.
Up. We have time here, and the key is that you let these consequences unfold and you give them enough time. So, if you're on a positive trajectory by starting a business or something, then the key is just don't quit and don't switch. Just keep doing the initial action, keep working, give it time, and do not quit. And on the flip side, if you're going down a bad trajectory and you feel like your life's not on track and you're going down a bad path, then hopefully you're not too far gone, because this is when, like down here, like this sort of exponential curve, this is when people get like depression that is so bad that they feel like they have to end their lives, or, this is when like you're really in like hell. And you can climb out of here, like, trust me, you can. I've seen people do it, and it's the most miraculous, wonderful thing ever. But you want to try and avoid having to do that. So if you're on this negative trajectory and you think, God damn, like, I don't like where I'm headed, just know that if you don't stop doing all this crap before it's too late, there's going to be a tipping point in a cliff that your life falls off, and it will happen faster than you can possibly expect. It will come out of nowhere and it will slap you in the face, and it's not a good thing. It really isn't. I've seen it happen to a lot of people. Now, we can visualize this with something pretty insane called a consequence map. So consequences have consequences. Actions have consequences. Consequences have consequences. And what we can do is we can actually map the consequences of terrible, stupid behaviors and decisions. So here's a consequence map I made for one bad initial action of getting an Xbox for Christmas. So you can replace getting an Xbox with, downloading TikTok or watching pornography or trying drugs for the first time or even ordering a burger. And you can see how messy this thing gets. So consequences, they're not just linear chains where like one cause will create one effect. Like what usually happens is one cause will create lots of effects, and those lots of effects will fan out into lots more effects.
So it amplifies really, really fast. Like your one cause is gonna make one effect, and that one effect is gonna make not two causes, but it's just gonna almost like multiply, like bacteria. Yeah. And it gets to a point where it is like this, and it just gets so wrapped up and messy. You kind of have to retrace your steps and go back one, and then you find, oh, this is the reason Xbox. Boom, get rid of that Xbox, and then it kind of wipes out all of them.
And it's kind of like it's like an infection. Like this thing just spreads.
Yeah.
So let's explore this, shall we? So let's say that you get an Xbox gifted to you for Christmas. Okay, this is the initial. It might not even be your fault. You might not have even gone to buy the damn thing. Maybe your auntie was just like, hey Timmy, here's an Xbox for you, right? Well, your auntie's just done you dirty as far as I'm concerned, although bless her, she had your best interest at heart. But okay, so let's talk about this. You get your Xbox for Christmas, and this is basically the initial action. This is the original cause. Now, what happens is, okay, well, you start playing the Xbox. You're like, I'm just going to play the Xbox an hour a day on the weekends. Then you start playing every day because like no one can just do an hour a day of Xbox. Trust me, even I've tried, it doesn't bloody work. So you start playing every day. And then because you're playing every day, you play for more hours and you play more. And then you actually start getting good at the game. And then what happens is, because you're good at the game, you start frying your dopamine receptors, and the only way you can feel stimulation is with the game. And then you've wired your brain for instant gratification. So like, now you're just like completely, like you just, all you want to do is play this game and get immediate dopamine. And then the thing is now you're struggling to work. Because you're so used to getting dopamine from your game, like you can't sit down and focus and get enough dopamine. And because you've wired your brain for instant gratification, well, now you're going to start snacking whilst you're playing. And then you're going to buy these stupid G Fuel gamer drinks that, are going to ruin your gut health and adrenal glands. Then you're going to get anxiety and brain fog. Then because of this, you're going to stop exercising. Then you're going to gain weight. And then you're going to get fat, And then what's also going to happen here is if you start playing every day, you're going to play for more hours. And then you're going to spend less time with your girlfriend. She's going to get mad at you. And then she's going to start disturbing you during your working hours because she knows it's easier to distract you from your work than from your Xbox because you're glued to the thing. And then because she starts disturbing you and she's angry at you, you start playing more Xbox to forget that she's angry at you. And then she leaves you. And then you enter hell because it's not good. And then because you get good at the game, you start making friends that are also good at the game. And then you start hanging out with these people. And then you start spending money on skins and items to pathetically compete with them for digital status. And then you're poor because you started buying pixels. And then you go through hell. Or, another thing that happens is like, what have we got here? So you get good at the game, and then what starts happening is you start staying up late because you're on this game late. Like your willpower's at its weakest past 11 p.m., man. So you start staying up late, playing late. Then you destroy your circadian rhythm, which is your sleeping pattern. And then you start doing dumb shit because you're up at 2 a.m. chasing.
That's what I don't want to happen though. If I do try with this like business stuff, like I know it's important to really put in the effort and lock in and whatever you want to call it, do 12-hour days and stuff. But I physically cannot do that simply because I cannot get home from my college to my house in a shorter amount of time. Like, I don't know if there's if there's anything that I could possibly do at college. I've thought about buying a laptop and recording videos at college, but I don't know. But like, I can't possibly get home any faster. And when I'm home, I gotta change and eat, then train, then come home. But when I come home and I'm after training, I'm just fried, and I can't focus, and I'm tired, and I want to go to sleep. But no, I'm gonna have to be up watching videos. Like, I don't know how these people are getting through a video a day. On the other hand, hey, do it in the morning. I could probably do like an hour max every morning.
Dopamine.
Which is going to get me like... that's not even going to get me like 40. It's not. That's not like an hour in the morning is not gonna be an hour watching the video because I stop it, take notes, talk, and you know. So I'll probably be like 45 minutes in.
You know, it's like
45 minutes. I
in
don't
between
know.
your games, you start watching porn or doing stupid stuff, and then you get new addictions. And then what that does is it fries your dopamine receptors even more, which means that you have to start playing more, which means you have to start staying up later, which means you get more addicted, and this thing just goes around. And then also what happens is because you get good at the game, you get a sense of progress in the game, right? And then you have a lack of desire for sense of progress in life. Like if you're getting good at a game, like, you know, this is what happens to people who are gaming. Like your brain has a process, like it has a progress striving mechanism. And if you're getting your progress striving mechanism, if that thing's being satisfied by a video game, you're not going to seek it in business. You know, like I don't get this. People that play Sims, for example, like you're building this dream digital life, build your own bloody life, right? Anyway, you can tell I get passionate about this because this one got me. This one had me for a long time. Like all of these consequences you're seeing on the screen, with a few exceptions, some of the obvious ones that didn't happen are real. These happened to me. These literally happened to me. I'm not even joking to you. I mapped this out from personal experience, right? So sense of progress in game. And then you lack desire for a sense of progress in your life because you're getting everything you need from the game. So then you stop working and your business fails and you have to get a job you hate. And all of this leads to, you know, entering hell with enough time applied because now you're poor because you spent all your money on the game. Now you've lost your girlfriend because she doesn't like you because you're playing this game. You've also gained weight because of this Xbox. And now you have to get a job you hate because your auntie bought you an Xbox for Christmas. So you're in hell. And then you blame the world and become bitter and resentful. Then you bring everybody else around you down and you become this miserable sack of existence that no one wants to be around. So you become isolated and lonely. Then you lose friends and family members and then you get depressed. And then all roads lead to Rome. Like you do something heinous and terrible, right? This is how your life works. And like I'm hoping this is just your like holy shit.
However, it could be turned around. Listen, I buy book, I read book, I get smarter, I apply that knowledge to my life. Boom. I mean, where's the arrow go? Boom. I applied it to my life. My life now improves. I can now, you know, whatever application from the book I got and I used it in my life, then hey, it could, I don't know, make me money. I make money, I can buy more books. I can buy more because I read more, I get smarter. I apply more stuff to my life because I have more knowledge from reading books. Boom, I make even more money. Boom, I do not enter hell. I go back into fairyland where I make 10k a month and I become a millionaire, you know? So there's other things, like getting an Xbox, okay. That's probably not the best because these are all red, but like, yeah, it could be as simple as me starting this challenge. Then there's me, you know, devoting more time to these videos than scrolling on TikTok. Then because I'm, you know, devoting more time, I might get addicted to the progress, you know. And when I get addicted to the progress, I want to do it more, and then I don't know. These are just examples that I got off the top of my head. But like, hey, I'm seeing some things that like definitely could help. And like if I start making money, I can help out my friends, and then I don't know, my friends can, or I could teach my friends something, and then my friends could use that knowledge to help themselves and help their friends, and kind of just goes on and on and on. And that's what the type of person I want to be like, you know. Like I'm recording this now as a stupid 16-year-old college student, but there is going to be a time in my life where I really do I want to be that guy that people go to for advice and actually be able to seek actionable steps to improving their life. Like, sure, I want to be a business entrepreneur and make millions online, okay? That's like the goal, okay? But you know, Charlie makes millions on the internet, okay? But he also has some genuine like deep thoughts and stuff that you really gotta think about. Like stuff like this. Like, okay, he makes millions, but stuff like this helps him make millions, and I'm sure it will help his friends just like, or his family just like, you know, have a bit more guidance throughout their life. And yeah.
That's I'm hoping.
Like, I guess maybe you could give me $1 billion right now, or £1 billion right now, and I'd be relatively happy. But to be completely honest, to be utterly and truly real, I think I'd rather the knowledge to make $1 million or £1 million than just be given 1 billion. You know, if I have 1 billion, yeah, I could probably retire my family, my kids, my grandkids, my kids, okay, and everyone else around me. But I don't know. I have a feeling that having the wisdom, the knowledge, and the answers to some of these things, it's an incredible thing, man. I really do admire Charlie for being able to craft up stuff like this and being able to form it in a way that even I could take it in. Like, I'm by no means smart. Like, please, I'm really not. But it's incredible that, you know, it could be simplified just down to like something like this.
That's the reaction you've just had here. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I had this thing for a while. This is when I was younger. I was growing up, like 15, 16.
And I do believe it would genuinely, it would change so many lives if just more people knew about this. But yeah, there's also a lot of people on this planet that don't want to help themselves. And when you if anyone's watching this that's younger than me, or if they come back to this video in a few years' time and they find me talking about this, when you go into these bigger communities, maybe, I don't know, you join a community like a college or a university, or a job where you interact with a large number of colleagues, or whatever you want to call it, like, you'll realize that there's definitely people out there that don't want to be helped. They are just a victim to everything. I hate to admit this. I have people around me that are kind of victims. Like, just like, oh, I don't even want to talk about it because it actually makes me pretty upset with myself that I associate myself with these people. But I hope there comes a day where I can help them.
16 before I started a business.
That's what I want to do.
It's like 17 when I really kicked off. This was my life. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I had this thing for a while. This is when I was younger. I was growing up, like 15, 16 before I started a business, like 17 when I really kicked off. This was my life. Like, things really sucked. I had this like depression, pain, and suffering. Like, I never had like terrible suicidal thoughts or anything, but, you know, apply enough time to something like that, and that's where you can end up, man. And so, like, this all happened because I bought a gaming computer when I was like 13. And that happened because of some other stuff when I don't even know. It all comes back, like, from the second you're born, like, these things just unfold. Like, you being born, you being inflicted on the world is going to unload a chain of events that can either be very miserable or very happy. And so, you know, this is just one example. You could replace this. And this is, by the way, this is by no means an extensive list of all the consequences. There are thousands that I haven't thought to name here, but I wanted to give you an example, right? And they all feed back on each other as well. So, like, for example, destroy circadian rhythm and staying up late. Well, now this is going to make my girlfriend even more mad, because now I'm not even going to bed with her, like, and I'm getting into bed like 4 a.m. and she's asleep and going to work, which means that I play more and then my circadian rhythm gets worse. Like, it just cycles. All of these things feed back on each other and they create this absolute web of chaos and mess that you need to learn to clean up. All because Auntie Joan bought Timmy an Xbox for Christmas.
I do actually wonder, like, I think me and Charlie are, obviously not now, but we are starting in kind of on the same foot. Like, he was 17 when he started his business, or started trying to build a business, I guess. But I wonder if I'll ever become more successful than him. Because like he's obviously what about his life to learn about this stuff. And the fact I can just kind of take it in. I mean, hey, he's aged. Wait, how do I explain it? Okay, for some reason, if I could absorb every single one of these videos and remember all of them, you know, I have like a quarter of Charlie's brain then in mine. Surely that has to be a little bit of a cheat code.
So this happens on the flip side though, because on a more positive note, here's a consequence map for signing up for a gym. Now, you could map the same thing out for doing this program or buying Easy Grow or any example, you know, that I would deem positive. And these should be connected by arrows, so I apologize they're not. But so you sign up for a gym, all right? You're out of shape because, you know, you've been on this Xbox train for the last 7 years and now you're depressed and you want to fix it and you've hit rock bottom and a point of critical mass. So, you know, you sign up for a gym and you take your sorry ass into the gym and you start working out 2 days a week. And then you feel good, like just a little bit, a tiny bit good. You start making marginal progress. So you start training more. And then like, you know, you feel even better. So you train more and then that feeds back around. And then you get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm going to get a coach. You get a coach and, you know, your coach fixes your nutrition, which means that you feel good and make more progress, which means that you train more, get more coaching and fix your nutrition more and it feeds back around. Then you have a big leap of progress, this big exponential leap. You know, 6 months later, you've gone from, you know, you saw a picture of yourself when you were at a wedding 6 months ago and now you've lost like, you know, 10 kilos and you look incredible, right? That's fantastic. So then, like, you've had this big leap of progress. Now you understand delayed gratification. You get smarter. You start cleaning up bad habits in your life, right? And this thing then feeds into, you know, you becoming more disciplined or whatever, right? And then another example. So you have a big leap of progress here because of these things. And then your friend, your best friend, sees this progress and they join the gym. And then you train with your friend. And then you become accountable, which means you train more and fix your nutrition even more. And then it all feeds back around and more of your friends join the gym. And then you spend more time together improving. And then maybe after 6 months of training with this person, you start a business with them. And then maybe you make money and go on to be a millionaire with them. You know, like the same thing is true here, right? So maybe you fix your nutrition after this chain, then your gut health improves, mental health improves, confidence improves, then you become more socially popular, right? Then you start speaking to more people, you get better sales skills, you get more clients, you become a millionaire. Or maybe your confidence improves as a result of these things. And the second order consequence of that improving is you actually approach a girl for once in your life, and then you date that girl, and then she becomes your girlfriend, then she becomes your wife, then you have 4 kids and 9 grandkids. All because you went to the gym. Like, obviously, the approaching a girl happens.
I really, really, really want to make one of these videos in like maybe like 5 years time. I make one of these videos, and it's like, you know, day 1 of Imperium Academy, and then it's like day 2, and then it's like I learned something, and then I apply. Yeah, like,
Happened because the confidence
to do. I'd love to do that.
Improved.
I mean, at the bottom it's like billionaire or something.
But the confidence only improved because the mental health improved, because the gut health improved, because you fixed nutrition, because you got a coach, trained more, felt good, worked out, and signed up for a gym. All roads lead to Rome. Everything happens for a reason, and what you want to learn to do is try and isolate the thing at the bottom of it. Like, primary example for you. 7 years ago, I received a Facebook message on Facebook Messenger from a man called Baudouin Borgans, or Baudouin Borgans. He's my business partner now, and we've made tens of millions of dollars together. You know, we make $10 million a year, as I've said. Maybe I've said that too much at this point, but like, he's like a brother to me now. We live together. He's like my best friend. He's like brother till I die, brother from another mother, as far as I'm concerned. To use a less cringy phrase would have been more appropriate. But Bo messaged me on Facebook 7 years ago, before I was anything, before really he was anything. And he just messaged me trying to sell me some funnels, some service delivery agency funnels. And I was like, I bought them. Best decision I ever made, right? I bought them. And then I added Bo to a group chat with some other agency owners. And then I started talking to Bo. And then I started doing sales calls for him, and he started doing service delivery for me. And apply 7 years to the equation, and now we've got like the biggest info business in the space, all because of one Facebook message. And I mean, hopefully I live long enough to see 90, 100 years old. That'd be great, right? And I can't wait to see the 7 millionth order consequence of Bo messaging me on Facebook. This is how the world works.
It's a really crazy to think about.
Now what we have is feeder actions.
Also, I have some food with me now. I'll probably just carry on watching the videos, but I'm just gonna wash my hands really quickly, and then I'll just mute because I'm eating. But I won't be eating with my phone or anything. I will just be eating and watching the videos, and then I'll still pause it whenever I need to write anything. But yeah, I'll be back in a sec. Okay.
So most consequence trajectories have a feeder action. So the feeder action is the thing you do daily to sort of feed all of this stuff. So
yeah, I'm gonna just mute, but don't worry, I'm taking notes still.
second order consequence maps, like consequence maps, these second order consequences, they're like a hungry beast. They need to be fed. And the thing that feeds them is your daily habits, okay? And these are called feeder actions. So, for example, playing the Xbox, going to the gym, outreach in the business, etc. So feeder actions are actions that, in our case as humans, manifest physically as behaviors that we complete routinely, also known as habits, okay? So think about it. If you, like, the feeder action for this one is basically start playing every day, like, or more hours, more play. Like actually playing the Xbox is the feeder action. If you stop playing every day, then suddenly you cut off the oxygen for all of these second order consequences. And they'll still exist for some time, but like suddenly what will start happening? Let's say you stop playing every day. So you stop the habit. Well, then you lose your gaming friends. Good fucking riddance, right? They're gone. Also, you're going to bed on time now because you haven't got anything to do in the evening. You're just going to sleep instead. If you catch it early enough, you can actually start spending time with your girlfriend again and cut this off. And then also you're going to start wanting to work more. Like all of these consequences, they come from one specific behavior that you just routinely repeat every single day. And the thing is you live this life and you live all these nasty consequences without attributing them to the damn thing that you're doing. Like most people are doing these feeder actions and feeding their entire misery map of misery without even realizing it. That you have to isolate these things, right? Same thing for this. Like the feeder action for all of these positive benefits is training more and going to the gym, and showing up. So, if you want to stop a negative trajectory, if you want to, if you're on this thing here, and you're downsloping and you want to stop it, then just stop doing the thing that feeds it. Stop the initial action. Or the initial action is the cause, like the Xbox being bought or signing up for the gym membership. But usually the second or third order consequence of the initial action is the thing that feeds it. For example, like the initial action of becoming a heroin addict would be trying heroin for the first time or hanging out with someone that does heroin regularly, right? That's the initial action. You can't really repeat that thing because it's a one-time action. But eventually, if you're shooting up heroin, like you're doing that every day, then that's feeding into your miserable existence, right? And that's a bad thing. So if you want to accelerate a positive trajectory, you increase the feeder action. So the feeder action for the gym example is training more, and the feeder action for the negative trajectory is more hours, more play for the bad thing. So if you want to accelerate a positive trajectory, you increase the feeder action. So the feeder action for the gym example is training more, and the feeder action for the negative trajectory is more hours, more play. So avoid the bad initial actions and encourage the good ones. It's like snakes and ladders, just avoid the damn snakes. So let me give you a couple of examples, right? So really in life, it's more about avoiding this than it is trying to seek this. Like your success and the money you make and the quality of your life will come way more from
Um, so it's basically like, if you just avoid all the things that feed a bad life, you can't possibly have a bad life. Even if you're not searching for anything that reinforces a like positive traje- oh, I can't say that, trajectory trajectory. Okay, I really sound special saying that. I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't want to have a list, but I try not to. Anyway, you know what I mean. But yeah. So if you just avoid all of the things that you know promote this bad Xbox playing games, lose girlfriend, get fat, you're unhealthy, you're gonna die early, kind of thing. If you just avoid them, the good things will just come naturally, right? That's what I think, anyway. Like, you can't possibly have a bad life if you just avoid all of the bad things. A neutral life doesn't exist, right? I don't know. It's kind of a deep question. Does an okay life really exist? I don't think so. I feel like if you're avoiding every single feeder action that's gonna promote a unhappy life or a miserable life or a life that's not really ideal for you, it's this goodness will just come to you.
Trying to get rid of bad things, and it will trying to add good things. Because it doesn't matter how much you try and start a business. Like if you're playing the Xbox 8 hours a day, like there's no point, right? Well, there's a point. There's always a point to trying to improve, but the easiest way to you improve by subtracting things. But that's a story for another day. So, a few examples. So recently, I was at dinner in Dubai. Okay, no, I wasn't in Dubai. I was in London. And I met a friend of a friend who was really fun to be around. Like one of those proper, charismatic people, amazing people who you want to hang around. Like they were fantastic. I loved them to bits. But I found out after a few hours, this person was heavily into drugs, right? So I was like, oh, here's a great person who I really like, who I want to be friends with. And then I found out they were into drugs. And I saw this drug thing, like, okay, person into drugs coming into contact with me. Knowing where that heads, without judging them, I cut them off and never spoke to them again. Just ruthlessly didn't text them back. My friend who wanted to rearrange the dinner was like, oh, I'll bring this person. I was like, please don't. They were like, why? I was like, I don't like the drug thing. And they were like, oh, that's rude. You're judging them. You're being mean. I was like, no, I'm just protecting my consequence maps. Because
I respect that.
Like, I know my personality. Like, I've never done drugs before. I've never done like hardcore class A, class B drugs, anything like that. And I never will. I'll never touch anything like cocaine or heroin because like, I just know where that sort of thing leads. Like this person was fun. They would have been a great friend. They would have been really.
Charlie does the powder, whatever I don't know if I probably can't say on YouTube, so I won't. But Charlie does the A's, okay? Charlie may get addicted to the A's or may want to try it again. And when he tries it again, he probably will get addicted, and this will create a habit of doing it more often. That will make him, lazy, unmotivated, break his discipline to have like a good work schedule. He'll probably start hanging around with people that do the same thing, and that way he's not. Yeah, it's just gonna go off.
Really fun. They made me laugh, and like I was making them laugh, and it's great.
No, it's gonna get bad really fast. When it gets bad really fast, it's gonna get bad, really bad. It's gonna go like down, and then it's gonna go down, and then it's gonna go really, really down, and it's not gonna be fun. So yeah.
But as soon as I found out that they were like cocaine addict, gone out of my life. Goodbye. No empathy, no sympathy, gone. Because map that thing out. If you start hanging out with someone every day who takes cocaine, like you're going to be tempted to do cocaine. You're probably going to end up doing it. You apply like 3 years of inadvertent social pressure to your life and drugs, like you're going to cave. And if not, like, you're going to, something bad's going to happen. Like you're going to get stopped by the police and they're going to have it in their pocket and it's in your car. So now you're a drug dealer and you go to prison. Like it's just not fucking worth it. Same thing if you've got a friend that drinks a lot. Same thing if you've got friends that like all they do is play video games. Like people are a huge one and you should be willing to cut them loose unless they're like,
I feel like this is something that I really have to consider. It was like today, deadass today, on my mother's life, okay? It's first period, okay? I have a free first. So that means we're just not in a in like a compulsory lesson. Okay, I can roam. I don't actually have to be on campus, but I have to be on campus because I have to go to my next lesson that's after. Okay, but I thought I have an exam next week, Monday. Let's go revise. I go to the library. I sit with some of my friends. Okay, I sit down with my friends, and they're all on Clash Royale. I hop on Clash Royale. Okay, and we sit there playing for like 30 minutes. The plan was just to go up to the library to get some studying done. Okay, that was my initial plan. That was the plan before I came into contact with any of my friends. Okay, and suddenly, like, probably within 2 minutes of even walking into the library and seeing them, I've been wrapped up in, oh yeah, let's not do this. Let's play a game on our phone. And probably like 30 minutes goes by whilst we're just, sat there talking and playing games and doing useless stuff that doesn't need to be done because it doesn't help either us or anyone. Okay. I mean, yeah, I just came to the realization that, okay, even though these are my friends, I gotta make sure I'm doing the right thing, and it's it's hard to do this. Like, I feel like you have to be a decently strong-willed individual to be able to just walk away from your friends. And I sat on the other side of the library with a computer in front of me and my book, and just studied for a little bit. Okay, like probably a bit over an hour, right? And it's I can say, like, it's not an easy thing to do. It When you have friends that are not into the same things as you, not into the same things, but like not willing to do the same things as you, or not willing to go to the same lengths as you, it's hard. You kind of feel capped in a way, because I'm telling you now that I probably won't, and I don't think I could, go into the library every single day in the morning, and carry on choosing to like disassociate myself with these people and go do my own thing and study. Like, I couldn't do, maybe like 2 or 3 times, but there's gonna be times where I just don't want to do that, and they're going to they're gonna reinforce the idea of let's not do that. Like, so say if there's a day I come in, it's a bad mood, not a very nice day. I had a late night and I don't want to study. Okay, and they're like, oh no no no, Theo, just sit down with us. We'll just chill here for like the next hour whilst we just sit and do fuck all, waiting for our next lesson. Like, I probably will. Okay, but I struggle with finding the right people that are going to that can, like, sit with me and study. Well, not, I don't need to be sat with, but like, you know what I mean. I want to have people around me that want the same things. Like, that, I was talking to my friend earlier. I'm not gonna name anyone just in case, like, for some reason I become absolutely huge on YouTube one day and this gets brought up in like a Instagram reel clip or something. Like, I have a friend that was okay with getting a near pass on a mock exam. You know, if for anyone that doesn't know, I'm doing a course, and it's not like A, B, C. It's you get a U, a near pass, a pass, a merit, and a distinction. But I want a distinction. I really do, and I think everyone should. But not everyone will want to try and want to put in the effort, and it really upsets me. It does, because I hate having to be the only one that's like, yeah, guys, let's go study. Like, it should be a normal thing. We have a test in 4 days and no one's studying. Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't care if it's a mock. You can't be okay with getting a near pass or a pass, okay? Like, fuck, come on. But where do I? If anyone could tell me, even if it's just one person watching a live stream today, where to find people that are like-minded to me. This is something that I struggle with. I need to find like-minded people. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm gonna fuck myself over. Like, as much as I can try, depend on my discipline to, like, yeah, let's do this. Let's, you know, go with the positive feeder actions and stuff, and try to stay away from the negative feeder actions. There's just times where I'm not going to be able to
a
do it. I
close
won't
family.
have the courage to. Okay, I'll be tired. I'll be exhausted, and that's the real benefit to having people around you that be like, oh, come on now, like, come on, we got you. Okay, I'll go sit down with you. We'll just get a little bit done. Okay, it's better than nothing. But man, I just don't feel like I have friends at the moment that do that. But at the same time, I saw something ages ago, and I know I'm kind of rambling on now, but and I'd be real, it was on TikTok, so I may be wrong. It probably is, but it was something to do with like it gets to a point in your life where you're doing so well, or you're kind of on the come up. Okay, you're not doing well, you're not doing great, but you're making a significant change where other people can actually see that you're changing. Okay, like the causes, no yeah, no, the actions are kind of showing like a result now. That, um, that signing up to the gym, that cause, whatever it was 6 months ago, is now making an effect on your life, and people are starting to see that. I saw, and I saw this thing, and it was like, when that starts to happen, you naturally like find these friends that are also on the same path, because it's like your brain no longer even works the same as it used to. And when that happens, I mean, it hasn't happened yet. I'm probably quite far off it. But when that happens, I suppose like-minded people, you're just gonna connect better, and they're gonna become your new set of friends. And I really do hope when that happens, I won't go back too much. I can't even find the graph. But we saw the graph earlier where it's like, there's like point in critical mass, maybe? I think that's what it was called. Where, your snowball gets really big really quick. And I feel like finding the right friends is going to be something that makes that snowball really big really quickly, because you're no longer being held back. Not held back, but you're no longer being like held kind of in this kind of position where you're coming up but you're not there yet, but you're not on the same level as where everyone else is. Yeah, it's a weird situation to be in. I can't even say now that I'm at the situation. I'm not at the point yet that I'm like up, because I'm not. I haven't made any money online. I'm 2 weeks into this course, and I'm barely through week one. Like, yeah.
Or like a
But I'm just saying, I really I would love to find a set of individuals that I can really just make some just raw progress with. Like, they don't have to be, exact same as me. Like, they don't have to be a sprinter, or they can look like anyone. I'm not. It's hard to explain. Like, I'm looking for people that want the same thing. Yeah, I'm not looking for people that, oh yeah, me and you look like we would work well together because we're like both into, I don't know, we're both into Fortnite. Like, no, and they're out there. I know they are, but they probably just look, and probably they just look different, like in a physical way. I mean, they're probably just in different places to me. That's something I really have to understand. I'm kind of having like a self-reflection here. I'm sorry. You skip forward if I'm rambling on, but that's the thing. If I haven't found them yet, then they're probably not in the places. They're probably in the places that I haven't looked yet, which makes sense. Like, obviously, like, where can I find people like this? What are places that people like this hang out? I need to start hanging out in those places, man.
really best friend that you really want to fix, or like your brother or your sister or your mum, your dad. With those exceptions, I am absolutely
I'm not saying I have no hope in my friends, like fixing themselves. That sounds really bad, but making positive changes to their life. But I was talking to a girl the other day that's on my course, and I asked her, like, maybe you should set a screen time on your phone, because she plays a lot of Roblox at the age of 17, and she plays a lot of Roblox. She has like a screen time of like 12 hours. She falls asleep on TikTok every night. She can't watch a YouTube video without having something in her hands, like TikTok, or having, like, she watches YouTube and then plays TikTok. I mean, she watches YouTube and then plays Roblox on her phone whilst watching YouTube, because her dopamine receptors are cooked. Her everything to do with, like, her sense of gratification and getting that instant sense of gratification is just fried. Okay, that's like set a screen time. It helps me. I think we talked about this ages ago. This app called Screen Zen. It's free. It's on the Apple Store. It's on Google Play. It's out there. You can download it on pretty much probably any phone ever. Probably on PC as well. And it's just a free, simple screen time thing. It's great. And she's like, "Oh, well, I don't know." And I was like, "What do you mean you don't know?" I was like, "Well, I don't know. I'll have to try it first to see if I like it." What? What? You have to try out the screen time to see if you're... This has... A screen time's not there for you to be like, oh, I don't like... You're not meant to like a screen time. I don't like my screen time. But I do when I go to sleep at night and I look at my phone and I've been on my phone 3 hours a day. Like that instead of 8 or something. Like, that makes me feel better. We're not... It's just people that don't help themselves. And it really annoys me. Like, please, this screen time's not meant to be good. It's not meant to make you happy. My screen time doesn't make me happy. I'll be on, Instagram Reels, going through people's stories, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's a cool photo. Let me look at this person's profile. Let me see what this influencer's doing," and then I'll be hit with a screen time, and I'll be like, "Oh," and then maybe an hour later, after I've put my phone down, I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm glad I just put my phone down." But
Ruthless.
like, why? Why do people not understand that these actions are gonna
With who I let in.
really fuck them over? Like, if you can't watch a YouTube video without having a Roblox in front of you, Jesus Christ, that's like on the brink of going down really fast, really hard, really badly. Okay, not trying to say she's completely in the wrong, but I would love to be able to help. But how am I meant to help someone that doesn't even want to help themselves? Like, surely you have the mind capacity to understand, and the IQ to understand that having a screen time is to fix these problems, not to see, oh, do I like my screen time?
To my life.
Of course I'm not going to like a screen time.
Another example, which is quite funny actually. So I moved into this house in Dubai.
I'm sorry, but I really don't mean to come out and criticize everyone for everything, because who am I to say, like, what do I know about anything? Like, fuck, I really don't. I'm just saying. And sometimes I should probably take my own advice as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell these days. I'll see where everyone's at in 5 years' time, and maybe I'll give myself a little pat on the shoulder and be like, yeah, you had a point back then. Or I'll be like, yeah, you didn't have a clue what you were talking about. You never know. These people that are sitting on Clash Royale, mobile games, and whatever, if they get better scores than me in tests, what do I know? See?
A year ago, bang on a year ago now, in August last year.
That's not going to happen, by the way. I will make sure I'm at the top of the class. Actually, yeah, no, I will.
And my house manager, the guy who, estate agent house manager, sort of the person who was helping us with the house deal, they offered like a little favor, as you do when you spend a stupid amount of money on houses and rents and stuff. They offered to set up smart TVs in our bedrooms. So me and Bo moved into this house, and the house manager was like, "Hey, just as a favor to all tenants, we set up these smart TVs in the bedrooms. Like, we haven't done it yet since you moved in because we didn't know which rooms you were going to take and stuff. So let us know." They were like, "Look, we'll set them up. You've got all the streaming services. It's all free. Like, it's all paid for. You've got Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Amazon Video, Netflix, like YouTube. Everything's on there." As soon as I heard that, like, I was like, "That sounds great." But then I thought about it and I was like, "Nope." Because I mapped out the consequence trajectory and quickly shut it down. So, like, just think about it for a second. Like, you know, like,
Sorry, this is so crazy. I love this. This is probably one of my favorite things. Yeah, feedback loops, second order consequences, and feeder actions. These things are sick. It makes so much sense when it's in front of you. Like the simple thing today. Oh, I went off. I you know departed from my friends this morning and went to go study by myself. I studied by myself. I learned some more things. I learned some more things. I get more marks in tests. I get more marks in tests. I'm praised by the teacher, or I get the personal satisfaction in doing well, and that my hard work or my work that was done a few days ago contributed and paid off. Like it's these green, not green. I don't know why I'm saying green. I'm looking at a red little map thing at the moment, but you know what I mean. Like I love this one. This has been one of my favorite concepts from Charlie so far.
what, like, having a television in my bedroom that will show me any movie, or because it literally had everything on it, like everything. Having a TV in my room that will show me any movie or show or video I ever want to see ever. That's not a good thing, because then I'm going to start watching the damn thing. And I said to this guy, I was like, "Oh, I don't want it." He was like, "But it's free." I was like, "It's not free. The cost is me watching it." Like, if I have that in my room, that could cost me like $10 million a year. You know, like I start Game of Thrones and then suddenly I'm like waking up in the morning and turning the TV on, or, you know, and then
I dead ass might go delete TikTok right now. I'm not even joking. I think I may. I think I may have to. Like, honest to God. Hmm. Flip a coin. Actually, not. Fuck that. I'm not gonna flip a coin. I'm deleting TikTok. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I have my phone with me now. I actually have a few missed calls from my mother, so I'm gonna go take that really quickly. Uh, yeah, I'll be back on a back there. Okay, hold on. Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry, I had to just take care of a few things. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how long I've been gone for. Hopefully it wasn't too long. It's probably like 15-20 minutes.
It's just like these things you just gotta watch
I feel like locked out now. Let me dial back in, okay?
out for, man. And this guy was adamant. He was like, but everyone who moves into these houses like, we do it for everyone. It's free. I was like, it's not free. He was like, what do you mean? I was like,
Don't worry, my phone is not on my desk at the moment, if anyone was wondering. But yeah.
it doesn't cost me any money, but it can cost me my whole business. Like you just don't know. Like me getting a smart TV in my bedroom, like that could lead to me like quite literally killing myself. And I know how ridiculous that sounds. But it could result, okay, let's not use killing yourself, it's quite a terrible example, but having a TV in my room could result in the failure of my business. I don't know. It's better to not, because this is what happens. Like, would you think of this? Like, when your auntie buys you an Xbox for Christmas, like all of this stuff is going to manifest itself over like a 5 or 7 year time horizon. It might not. I'm sure some of you have an Xbox and have a perfectly fine life, but you have to just watch this thing like a hawk. Like I mapped it out. I was like, TV in room, right? What's the first order consequence of that? Okay, well, I'm going to watch the damn thing. Then I'm watching it led down. Then I'm watching it at night, which means that I'm going to go to bed later. That means that I'm going to get less sleep. You know, that means that I'm probably going to spend less time in the gym in the morning. You just map it and you'll see, you know. So the fastest way to know if an action is going to get you on a positive or negative trajectory is how good it feels in the moment. So the question then becomes like, well, Charlie, how do I know if an action is good or bad? Like, how do I know what is a snake and what is a ladder? Well, it's really about how it makes you feel in the moment. So if doing the
Good. Sorry, I'm just typing this out, right? But I just realized I didn't actually delete TikTok. Fuck. Because I called my mum and said, ugh, hold on. I will actually delete it now. Like, I'm being serious. Okay, I have my phone here with me now. I have a screen time for TikTok anyway, but it's probably better if I just remove it. So I just deleted it. What now I'm doing this? What are other things that don't bring any value to me progressing in my life? That can go. What else can go? I have Clash Royale on my phone. Do I actually delete it or? I don't know. Do I have enough willpower to delete Clash Royale? Fuck. I don't know. Oh yeah. Also, something that I've been doing for a fair amount of time now, like probably for about 6 months or so, My phone, for a lot of the time, I'm like up out. Just life in general. Unless I'm like I have to look at something that I need it for. Um, I have my phone in what's it called, grayscale or grey. It basically makes your phone grey, no colors. It's black and white. Not black and white, but it's grey, black and white. Basically, you can't see bright colors. And I think I had it on my PC for a little bit as well. If I go give me 2 seconds. Hold on. It really helps. I think it does anyway. Let me try to find it. I know this isn't kind of relevant, but give me 2 seconds and I'll show you what I mean. Color filters. Okay. Like this. I don't know if this is went grey for you. It might not, because if you have a monitor that's in color, it might not do it. But for me, this is now entirely grey. But yeah, I have my phone like this most of the time, so I don't see colors. But if I'm looking at like a photo, or yeah, I have to do something where my phone is actually needs color for it, then I will turn it back off. But yeah, just a little advice out there. If you guys are having trouble messing around on your phone, looking at useless stuff, just turn it on black and white mode or whatever. And yeah, grayscale. It's down here. Turn it on grayscale, and trust me, it will reduce your urge to sit on your phone, because it just becomes boring and, you know, a bit just bland and horrible.
Action brings
That's how you want it, to be honest.
you pleasure now and pain later, then it's bad, right? So anything that gives you instant gratification is bad. And if the action brings you pain now and pleasure later, it's good, and that's delayed gratification. So
Let me make sure I have my Google Docs up.
the more it sucks, the better it is for you usually. So if you have the choice today between watching Six Figure Fusion and sitting and watching, you know, I don't know, some random Twitch streamer disrespect women for 3 hours, like one of those, like that's just, I'm not going to say that's a good thing, but like one of those things you might want, you might, like, let's just say streamer playing video games, right? To use a less political example. So there's 2 things you could do right now. You could go and watch a streamer play Minecraft, or you could sit down through a 3-hour painful business video. Like, well, the 3-hour business video that you're watching right now, or however long this thing is, I don't know, kind of sucks to watch right now, because you got to pay attention and write stuff down. And like, you could be watching a streamer play Minecraft, and that sounds really fun right now. But the thing is with the streamer playing Minecraft is it brings you pleasure now, and it feels good now, but it brings you a little bit of pain later, because you go to bed that night like, shit, I wish I'd watched that video. God damn, why am I such an idiot? And then you do it all again the next day, right? So wherever you can in life, you're looking for delayed gratification.
Don't worry, I haven't forgotten my fuck ass punishments that I'm doing, by the way, wherever they are. 100 press ups, run 10k. You know what? You know what? I'm really feeling it. Not really feeling it tonight, but I feel like tonight's a better day than yesterday, because yesterday I was out of it. Okay, I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to just sit and die. Okay, pretty much. Not that, but like I just wanted to go to sleep. But at the end of this video, you know, I'll do the push-ups. Honestly, I'm down for it. And then I'll run 10k tomorrow.
Every day you
I'm not gonna forget about that. Okay.
wake up with the choice to take instant gratification actions or delayed gratification actions. Like, what are you going to have for lunch? What are you going to have for dinner? Are you going to have like some, Deliveroo,
I feel like I'm doing quite well in terms of like I haven't actually had any coffee yet or anything or any energy drinks, so I haven't had anything yet. So I mean I had Monster this morning at like probably 1 o'clock, but hey, I feel okay.
instant food, like junk foody thing, or you're going to eat something clean and healthy that you know is good for you. Because the junk food will feel great now, but at 4 a.m, it probably won't feel too good. When you've eaten something bad that doesn't agree with you because there's so much grease and crap in it. But if you eat like a salad now, it kind of just sucks. Just a salad. You're like, oh, I don't really want this. But then like at 4 a.m, you're not suffering, right? So with your consulting business, you have 4 main feeder actions that delay gratification. So remember, this is all about isolating these feeder actions. These are things that we can do every single day, like habits that we can perform, behaviors that we can manifest using our body to feed the consequences we want to feed. Because this map, this is a hungry beast. The second you stop training, all of these things start falling apart. Like, you need to consistently maintain these things. The key is really consistency, right? So the main feeder action, if you're wondering, to go from 0 to 10K a month, the main feeder for this is cold outreach. So cold emails, cold calls, cold DMs. Like outreach is a term used to describe you messaging, calling, or emailing people in your niche to see if they have the problem that you have the solution for. So outreach is basically you trying to get clients, right? That's the action. That is the most important feeder action you can do to get to 10K a month or even 100K a month. Okay? Sometimes it can also be making content as well, but we need to get customers. So that's the feeder action.
Didn't he say like earlier though? Not earlier, but we probably like 2 days ago we were doing the course, and he said delivering value, getting results is one of the main things you have to focus on.
So once you're set up,
I'll listen to this.
Once you've got your foundations, your mindset, your expertise, your sales skills and stuff, like you should be doing outreach all day, every day. Like if you're not doing outreach all day, every day, then you're not feeding your trajectory properly. So starting a business is like, you can map out the consequences of that. And, for as long as you feed the business, and what I mean by feeding the business is consistently doing outreach, which means getting, more interested prospects just consistently through that machine. The more you feed that thing, you'll become just so successful. It's ridiculous. The other thing that you can do, or the other things you can do to feed the business, are remind yourself of the foundations. So rewatching these videos, working on your mindset and rewatching the mindset videos, closing calls and getting better at your expertise. These are really good feeder actions. Remember this from the last video, the only 4 things that matter: solid foundations and mindset, booking sales appointments, closing sales appointments, and delivering value and getting better at what you do. These are the feeder actions for the business. If you're not working one of these 4 things, you're wasting your time. And a quote from Jordan Peterson for you. Someone asked him some really deep question, and he gave his answer. I thought it was fantastic. And I instantly understood it because I understand second order consequences. He said, our actions echo into eternity. And what that means is that what you do now in this very moment in time is like what the decisions you make, the actions you take, they are going to, in a very small way, a very, very small way, determine the entire course of the future of the universe. And this is where you can derive meaning from, man, woman, person, whatever you are, robot. Like knowing this, you can just make your little corner of reality better. I mean, that's worth doing. So an action item for you. So what I want you to do now, once again, is pause this and do this. Find your worst feeder action that you have right now. God knows you've got one. You got a habit, probably 5, you know. But find your worst one, the worst feeder action. Like, remember, your life is an aggregate of everything you've ever done. You've got this consequence map that you're living, and it's being fed by a couple of specific behaviors, right? Like, you know, eating junk food or playing video games or, you know, all of these just basic bad habits that you know you have, right? And I want you to basically make a decision to remove it. And if that sounds too difficult, then just try and not do it tomorrow. Because you've probably got these behaviors that you've done every day since you can.
Honest to God, oh wait, no, I probably do. I was about to say, I probably don't have a feeder action anymore because I just deleted TikTok. And that was probably my main one. But I have Clash Royale that I play occasionally, but it's not massive. I say like working on getting up earlier, and maybe not sleeping so much on the bus. That could help. Oh wait, no. To be fair, what am I saying? Because going back to what Charlie said earlier, he said that. Well, I mean, we discussed this earlier, but it's better to remove your negative feeder actions or whatever than try find or create or make better your positive ones. So let's just work on removing every single negative one. So yeah, tomorrow I won't play Clash Royale. And yeah, I mean, I won't play Clash Royale, and I won't look at Instagram Reels because I do have Instagram on my phone, and I know that I do actually sometimes switch to Instagram Reels when I don't want to watch TikTok or something. Which sounds really bad, but it's true, I'm being honest. So yeah, I'll try not look at Instagram tomorrow.
Remember, let's just try and not do them tomorrow.
So this is going to be something in red. So do not look at Instagram Reels tomorrow, or just Insta in general. Mobile games. Does this look okay? Yeah.
Right. That's a good place to start, right? That's your first action item. Not too tricky. Just, you know, if there's something bad that you do every day that you know you shouldn't do, that maps out all these terrible consequences that if you don't stop doing is going to send you down to the pits of hell with enough time, let's just try and not do it tomorrow. That's action item number 1, okay? Make a decision to remove it, but more importantly, just don't do it tomorrow, okay? So stickability and consistency. So staying on this topic, and by the way, please do this now. Just pause the video and write down to yourself or tell yourself, we're going to remove this, but let's just, like, in the future, we're going to remove it completely. But for now, let's just not do it tomorrow.
Alright, that's fine. 'Cause I feel like my phone's probably my biggest distraction at the moment, so we'll not look at Instagram Reels tomorrow. So no TikTok, because I deleted that off my phone because that's just a fucking virus, okay? But Instagram Reels, we'll try to stay off for good, and then maybe if I do open Instagram, I will send a photo of my screen time tomorrow. But oh yeah, that's a shout actually. Yeah, maybe send a photo of screen time in the. Is that for accountability? Maybe, hopefully. Anyway, I think that's a pretty good idea. Send a screenshot of screen time. Yeah, so you guys know I'm not just, you know, talking out my bum right now and saying like, yeah, delete TikTok. I don't watch Instagram Reels anymore. Like, I'll be honest. You'll see for yourself. If I do watch Instagram, I do. I'll show you. Yeah.
All right.
No
or for 2 days, whatever you think you can manage. Don't try and like cut it off completely because you're not there yet, mate. You know, you haven't got the willpower, discipline, or energy to just miraculously cut terrible habits out of your life. Let's just start with one day or one morning, for God's sake, right? So stickability and consistency. If you want to progress along a positive trajectory towards your goal, then you need to isolate the feeder action, which is a physical behavior that can be habitualized by routine. Then you need to stubbornly repeat this feeder action daily. So all success is isolating feeder actions and consistently repeating them, or consistently not repeating them if it's bad. Sometimes it can take months of repeating this feeder action to trigger the second order consequence and a chain reaction. So in physics, right, let's use nuclear fusion as an example, okay? So if I explain this to you, so nuclear fusion is basically when I don't really know how it works. I can't really give you like a high level fancy explanation. So what I've done actually whilst thinking about it is I've pulled up this diagram for you. So
wait, I need to write some of this down. Just a summary of it. Is that my phone ringing? It probably is, but I'm not looking at it. Okay, no, that's a lie. Maybe I am. Hold on. Is this my phone? Yeah. Okay, so it is most certainly my phone. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. My phone is ringing. Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay. What was I doing? If you want to progress along a positive trajectory towards your... Okay.
So what I've done actually whilst thinking about it is I've pulled up this diagram for you. So this is what nuclear fission or nuclear fusion looks like. It might be fission, it might be fusion, but you get the point. So this is how consequence maps work, right? So this is how your life looks, is you start with one cause and this thing fans out in infinite directions. But this is how nuclear energy can be, can become a chain reaction, so to speak, right?
Hold on, how many
And so,
calls
if you're trying to...
I'm gonna search this up. Oh. does 35 per day. So 35 a day. I'm interested in this now. So if Charlie's doing 35 a day, right? And how long it took him? Yeah, 35 a day. Says he do that for 100 days. Then yeah, that's not even bad. Okay, so if I can do 35 calls a day, like bang on 35 calls, I could get my first client. But this is bearing in mind, this is Charlie Morgan we're talking about. He's no like weak cookie, no like half on kind of guy. Okay, he's that's probably 35 cold calls of absolute. You know, you really put something into it. Like, so we'll go with like. Could I even do 35 in a day though? I probably can't. Just because I'm not Charlie Morgan, I do 15. Because I'm not him. So 150. Damn. So I do. It's probably a better way to work this out. 360. Let's just go like 200. So 200 days from now. Not from now, but maybe 200 days from like next month, and I start making cold calls. Damn. It really takes a lot then. I can make 15 calls a day for 200 days straight and still not get a client. Damn.
I was thinking about it is I pulled up this diagram for you. So this is what nuclear fission or nuclear fusion looks like. It might be fission, it might be fusion, but you get the point. So this is how consequence maps work, right? So this is how your life looks, is you start with one cause and this thing fans out in infinite directions. But this is how nuclear energy can be, can become a chain reaction, so to speak, right? And so, if you're trying to create these effects down here, what has to happen is something has to happen at the beginning, and it has to happen consistently and repeatedly. So, for example, this example here, we're combining these two things together, which is the, thesis and the antithesis. And sometimes you have to combine them together a lot. Like you've got to do this consistently for months before you start achieving the chain reaction you want to achieve like this, right? And so the point I'm making here is, like, don't think that just by making one cold call, you're suddenly going to get a client. Like, the universe is going to test you. And these feeder actions, like, it's kind of like getting like a chainsaw going. Like, you got to give that thing a few rips before it actually kicks off. You got to give it a few revs. And so when you're trying to change your life and make progress and, build a new consequence map for yourself, the first initial action, like, for example, eating clean or, in this case, doing outreach to get customers, sometimes you've got to do it a lot. You got to do it a lot. And then what will happen is you do it a lot and then you'll get the consequence you want, which is getting a client. And then the chain reaction will start. Then it just gets easier and easier. And the more clients you get, the easier it gets, which means the more clients you get. And this is the feedback loop coming into play. So for example, right, it took me 3,500 cold calls to get my first client. And that's not a lie. It took me like 60 to 70 sales calls to get my first client. And it took me 3,500 cold calls to book 60 sales calls. I wasn't very good. Don't worry, it shouldn't take you, well, it might take you this many, I don't know, but I didn't really know what I was doing. But like once you get the first client, once you get that first client, that feeling, like it's like the whole world opens up to you. Yeah. Like that's the second order consequence that's now going to create
3,500 cold calls, right? And I finally get a yes, yeah. Buddy, I'm levitating, okay? I'm up in the stars after that. That must be such like a more than a relief. It's like you feel like you're in heaven.
The chain reaction.
I would. After 3,500 times, no, 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 no. And I meant, imagine that 3,499 times. And the last one you get. Yeah, okay, I can make that work. Oh, I can't wait.
Action that could make you a billionaire.
I will make it happen.
It's just one person buying from you, right? It's like, holy shit, it works, you know? It's like that scene from, if you've seen the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks, where he creates fire. It's like, oh my God, fire. And really, like, civilization is a second order consequence of fire, of us discovering fire. Like, we discovered fire, and then, you know, however many hundreds of thousands, or I don't know, millions of years later, whatever the hell it is. No, it's not millions, but, you know, however many years later, now we've got MacBooks, you know, and that's the second order consequence of the discovery of fire. But anyway, you know, my point is that to make fire, it might take you a couple of days of rubbing some sticks together. And don't be afraid to do months of work to see no result to feed the consequence map. Likewise, it might take 30 workouts before someone sees weight loss. You know, it might take 2,000 cigarettes before someone gets lung cancer. Like, if lung cancer was your goal, and you know that the feeder action to lung cancer is smoking 2,000 cigarettes, so it's smoking cigarettes, like, you wouldn't smoke, like, okay, you obviously don't want lung cancer. No one does. But let's say you wanted to get lung cancer, right? Like, you wouldn't just smoke like 10 cigarettes and be like, oh, where's my lung cancer? Oh, this doesn't work. Cigarettes don't work. I'm giving up. Like, when you invert it against a negative...
That's kind of why as well, you got to be addicted to the journey, to the game, you know? Can't be doing it just for the nice cars, the results and stuff. Yeah, but you'll make far much more progress if you remove all of these numbers here, and you just dial and dial and dial and work out and work out and work out until you just see weight loss, or you get clients that way. You stop removing like the entire thing, like, oh, I've done 100 cold calls and no clients. I feel like it's better to just, I'm not even gonna, should I keep track of how many cold calls I do? I feel like I will, but I'll try to ignore the number, okay? Because it really doesn't mean anything. It could be down to chance that for some reason on my 111th cold call, I get a yes, okay? And, you know, I don't have to do the next flipping, 3,400 and whatever, like
consequence,
3,300 and whatever.
It makes a lot of sense. But for some reason, people struggle with gauging the positive. And it's the same thing, like, let's say you want to find a wife. You might need to approach 1,000 women, depending on how much riz you have. Hopefully it's not 1,000, but you know what I mean? Like, these feeder actions, man, we just got to keep on feeding. It's literally just like your body. Every day, wake up, you got to feed it. It's the same thing with success. You got to find the thing that feeds it. You got to habitualize it into a daily routine and just consistently never stop. And then eventually what you can do is you can hire people to feed it for you. So I don't make cold calls anymore. You know, I like when I had my agency doing 100K a month, I had people feeding it for me. Like, I hired them. But you're not there yet. So you've probably heard the phrase consistency is the key to success. And you've probably never really understood why. Maybe you're like, yeah, I get it. Consistency is important. But now that you know this, like, using your understanding of time, feedback loops, and second order consequences and consequence maps, you should now understand why consistency is the key to success. And this should make it more justifiable. Everything I've just told you, everything, serves the purpose of you justifying consistency and something called stickability. That's the whole reason I've just spent 2.5 hours explaining all these abstractions to you is just so I can encourage you to be more consistent and more stickable. So the second lesser known key to success with your consulting business is what I call stickability. So stickability, kind of clues in the name, is basically how sticky you are to your foundations in the consulting business model. So in other words, can you stick to things without getting shiny object syndrome and hopping between business models, niches, and problems? Now, if you want to be successful and see this exponential loop, you've got to stick to it. You've got to be consistent with these 3 things. First of all, you must stick to the consulting business model. You must stick to the niche you pick, and you must stick to the problem you aim to solve for them. Once again, don't worry about, what if I pick the wrong niche or the wrong problem? Because we're going to talk about that in the niche and the problem video. I'm going to make sure you don't pick the wrong niche or the wrong problem. Because the truth is that provided someone else has made the niche work and that someone else has solved the problem, then success is possible and it can be done. All we have to do is iterate our way to success, which once again I will explain in a later video. Your job after picking is to stick. Okay, so I'm going to capitalize this: pick and stick. Okay, pick and stick. That's all you've got to do, is pick and stick. And like, I can tell you that your brain's gonna go fucking crazy on you. Like, you know, you're gonna get a couple months in, you're gonna be like, oh, this isn't working. This doesn't work for me. Like, you know, consulting isn't for me, and this niche isn't, like, it's not good, and the problem I just can't solve. Like, you're gonna attack, you know, your stickability. But it is imperative that you stick, because, you know, remember, it's just having the patience to just sort of rev up that initial action and just consistently feed it and get that first consequence. And then the second and third and fourth and fifth, you're still not seeing, like, you know, even by like maybe here we're at like 15th consequence or the 70th consequence, and you're still not seeing what you want. But just keep on feeding it, and just trust the process, and trust that if you're in a niche that supports growth, solving a problem that is painful that you can create value through, with enough time and enough feeder actions, you will just whoosh, flywheel. And then everyone will think that you got lucky. Oh man, that's literally how it goes as well. I had this where, like, you know, suddenly I went from making like $1 million a year to like $10 million a year. And everyone was like, what the hell? You got lucky, man. I was like, no, you just haven't seen the 6 years of work I put in to get to this point of exponentialism. So notice how the graph above shows very little progress for the first chunk of time, and then it curves up. Right? Every time you switch your business model, your niche or your problem, you reset your consequence trajectory back to zero. This is hugely important. So you're on a trajectory, a positive trajectory, and all you've got to do is stick to it and keep feeding the initial action, right? Just keep on pumping away, keep feeding that thing. If you switch to a different business model, if you switch to a different niche, or you switch the problem that you're helping that niche solve, you immediately reset yourself back to zero. Because think about it. Let's say that you're in the consulting business, you give it 5 months, you get one lousy client and you give up, and you switch to drop shipping. Well, you could have been 2 months away from getting 7 clients. But by switching to drop shipping, now you've got to go through the initial 5 months of suffering again to even get anywhere remotely near close to where you want to be. And then you're going to get 5 months into drop shipping, make a few lousy sales, and then quit and go and do Amazon FBA or something else. This is how people do it, and it's just stupid. Same thing with your niche. You're in a niche, you pick it 4 months in, you haven't got a client yet. The niche just sucks. Like, instead of blaming the business model, the niche, or the problem, blame yourself, because that's the truth. And you switch the niche, and then as soon as you switch the niche or the problem, you reset your consequence map back to zero, and you're back to square one. Then all that progress you made, the effect you didn't really see, you're just blind to the effect, you've just gone back to zero. And now you've got to go through it all again, and, you know, it's impossible to achieve success without going through this. So don't be fooled into thinking that if you switch to something shinier, that it's going to happen quickly, because it won't. So don't fucking do it. I know that I'm kind of being a little bit passionate with some of my words and the phrases and the choice of swear words I'm using here, but this is just so important. If I can just get you to do one thing, it's just stick to it. All right, which is why I'm doing this. So an action item for you. Once again, do this now. Okay. Don't put it off. Don't just watch this thing in two. I know some of you have. Some of you have watched this in 2 times speed with 100 tabs open. You're probably not even listening right now. Some of you are on your phones. Like, I can't help you. You might as well just leave, right? But for those of you that are listening, that have been taking notes, that have been doing the action items,
Charlie,
first of all, well fucking done. Congratulations. I am proud of you, and I'm happy that you're doing it. So keep it up, because you're doing very well so far. Okay? Yeah. So action item. Write this down right now. Pen and paper.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I promise to myself and Charlie.
I'm doing it over here, but pen and paper, Google Doc and mouse and keyboard, same thing.
That I will stick with this program and this training. I will stick to consulting. I will stick to the niche I pick, and I will stick to the problem I pick to solve. I understand that I have countless temptations to switch. I will have countless temptations to switch to a different business, niche or problem, and I will doubt all of these along the way, but I won't listen to all this bullshit, and I will be a person with extremely high stickability and consistency. Okay? So I want you to write this down, and I know it seems trivial. Oh, he's just getting us to write stuff down. That's not really business. But I just want you to make this agreement with yourself. And if you're doing the action items and you're listening, like, dude, well done, man, woman, whoever you are, person, like, this is really good work. Like, you're you're unfolding some second order consequences, you know, and I'm happy that you're doing it, and you should be really happy as well. And, you know, I know that you're not seeing any money in the bank yet. I know we're only, you know, 5 or 6 hours into these videos, but you're doing good so far, man. Okay, woman, person. So summary. So we talked about the...
Wait.
I know that you're not seeing any money in the bank yet. I know we're only, you know, 5 or 6 hours into these videos, but you're doing good so far, man. Okay, woman, person. So summary. So we talked about the consultant foundations, which we defined the 5 foundations of niche, problem, solution, result, and offer. We put those into a hypothesis and explored that. And then we actually, you know, understood the consultant equation and how that thing works. Discussed knowledge, memory, and time, and how that thing happens where, you know, remember to remember, basically. Like how if you're not careful, like things are going to happen in your life and you're going to forget what made them happen. So if you don't like what you have now, then you can't remember what you did to do it. So you can't stop doing that. And if you have what you want, you can't remember what you did to get what you want. So you stop doing it and then you don't have what you want in the future. So we talked about that, which is a bit of a, you know, complicated thing to wrap our heads around. Then we discussed exponential distribution, feedback loops, second order consequences, obviously the consequence maps, feeder actions, and then obviously last but not least, you know, just maintaining that just ruthless, dogged consistency over time, non-stop, sticking to it, being consistent, feeding the actions, trusting the process, and just biding your time and waiting. And if you've paid attention to this video and you actually do it, you're going to be way more successful than people that haven't. And I'm excited to see that in a year or 2 from now. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
All right, guys. I think it's time. Flipping push-ups. B. But anyway. Yeah, I even made it bigger. My action item. Whatever. I promised to myself and Charlie that I will stick to this program and this training. I will stick to consulting. I will stick to the niche I pick. I will stick to the problem I pick to solve. Okie dokie. Like I will. I promise. I will. And these are some notes that I made today. Just going along. I still don't know how to spell this word. Trajectory. And I can't even say it because I can, but I have to say it really slow because I swear I have a speech impediment or something. It really fucks me up. Trajectory. Anyway. I have 100 press-ups to do because of my missed stream the other day. Or no, it wasn't a missed stream. It was like it was an ass one. I did like nothing in it. I basically talked about me being a bum. But anyway. I don't know if I should record it or not. Should I record it? Technically I could record it. Do you guys trust that I'll do 100 push-ups? I can't. I don't know. Coin flip. If it's heads, I'll record. If it's tails, I won't. Fuck off. Alright, I guess I'm recording it. Yeah, right. I don't want to get my face in it just yet. Just because, I don't know if I want to show my face on here just yet. Just cause, but hey. I'll show you what 100 push-ups looks like. My god, I can't talk. I probably can't do 100 in one go. I'll try to do as many as I can in one day, in one go. But, I'll be back. I give me... How long should I do it? 5 minutes? 100 push-ups in 5 minutes? I give myself 10 minutes just because I don't know if I'll be actually able to do it in 5, but... Alright. I shall be back. Wait, no, that's like a push-up every... That's like 10 push-ups every minute. I could do that. I can do like double that. What am I saying? Yeah, alright. 5 minutes. 100 push-ups. Let's get it. Wait, actually, let me set up my phone because I need something to record. Hold on. gonna be one of those times where I'm gonna have to take my phone off color filters or grayscale, whatever you want to call it. Let's see if this is a good little. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna set this up, and then I'll say when I have it set up, then I'll tell you when I'm starting. Oh, because why do I actually have like a goated setup for it? I feel so smart. I pulled out my drawer for like a little stand thing. Okay. Anyway, I have a pretty good setup for it. Oh. Okay. I just did like 10 just to see if I was in frame, but alright. I'm gonna yeah. I'm gonna put my headset down here and then yeah. Alright. I'm gonna start it now and hopefully I can do it before then, but yeah. Let's get it. Oh my god. Ooh. Flip. I think I've done like 58 so far. 3 minutes to go. Nah. Why is this looking hard? Holy hell. This is not funny. I have 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Fuck. I keep on forgetting where I'm at. I think I'm at 68. Wait, 68. Okay, that's 70. Oh my god. We're just over halfway. I've done 70. Go on, 10 more. Let's get to 80. That's 77. Damn. My fatigue is. I feel like I'm pushing up like a brick that doesn't move. 77. Okay. I've got 20 more to do. Can I do 20 push-ups in a minute and a half? A minute and 16 seconds. Oh. Fuck. Okay. 3, 2. Alright, so I officially have 60 seconds to do 20 push-ups. Oh my god. This is close. I've got 10 more push-ups in 30 to 31 seconds. 5, come on. I've done 3. No way. No way. I got 5. I can't. 8. I'm not gonna do it. What the hell? I'll do 5 more, just for the sake of it. Holy hell. Pump, pump. Oh. Get a little tricep action in there. Okay. I just finished the push-ups. I probably did it in like a minute and 30 or whatever. Bro, I did the first 50 like straight. I was locked in. Oh my god. Yeah, it was a wrap. It's like I couldn't do any more. It's the first time I've ever done like push-ups to a failure. Like dead ass. I feel like I feel dead. Oh, maybe I didn't have to do them in 5 minutes, did I? But hey ho, we got through it. That was not easy though. Fuck. I'll probably I'll probably edit like the clip because it might have my face on tomorrow, and I'll show it at the start of the next stream. So I'll be like, where's my Google Doc? So wait, yeah, start of week 3 actually. Oh my god, yeah, wait. We have to do an overview. Overview. Let's get it. I should stop saying that. It's kind of weird. Overview. What did we do for an overview in week 1? I remember we did the light thing. So, let's have a look. So, it was, I say this is green. We look like we got a lot done. Oh wait, also I can look at my, how much I streamed for on YouTube. Flip. Press ups time me out, man. Okay, so day 6 on the 8th of November. It says the 9th, but it's probably because it got uploaded at like 12 or like 1 a.m. or something. I don't know. But yeah, day 6, and around 48-minute stream. Looks like we got through a fair bit, you know. Day 7 was also green. It was like a 2 hour and 10 stream, but it looks like we got through a lot. I'll definitely go over this at the start of week 3, so tomorrow. Yeah, doesn't look too bad. I think definitely we got through the most in this day 7. I don't know. No, maybe day 8. But I think we've had a green, and we're gonna have a green again, I think. Wait, day 8 was like a 2-hour stream. Got through a little bit. Foundations for spell. Oh yeah, this really clicked for me. That value is created when money is made when value is created. Value is created when pain is alleviated. Pain is alleviated when problems are solved. And that's the application of critical information. This is like a very a big stepping stone, I think, in my personal opinion. From someone that hasn't had any business experience before, I feel like that's just literally like the whole reason why we buy things is because they have a value. We don't buy a bottle of water for just to have the possession of water. We have it for hydration. We buy water so we're hydrated. That's why we buy it. Yeah, and that's the value that it gives. Being hydrated gives amazing benefits. I'm gonna say this day was probably an orange. We didn't really do a whole lot. We did a little bit. We showed up. Didn't do a lot. And then, ooh wait. Damn. Day 10. Day 10 was a red. Day 10 was a nuh-uh. Oh wait, that's fucked up. Wait, no, it's not. Never mind. I thought day 10 was filmed on the 13th, but no, it's filmed on the 12th. Yeah, it's a red. Day 11. It's an orange, guys. It's an alright one. And then today, the 14th, I think we got through a lot. I think this is not a lot, but we had more than probably double here, double of this. So I think if we could take even like a section of this, and definitely a good day, I think. And we got our press ups done as well. So maybe we put it at the bottom here. Oh, what the fuck did I just do? I don't know. Where did my overview go? Oh, okay. Come back. Just an Thursday was I did 100 press ups in like 5 minutes. Is it 5 minutes? Yeah, we'll just do it this way. My forearms ache after. I don't know why. I feel like I'm getting forearm cramp for no reason at all. Damn, yeah, shit's hurting. Not hurting, but okay. So yeah, and so that was obviously a green day. So we have a green. I feel like I'm getting a forearm cramp. Like dead ass, it hurts. Green. Orange, red, orange. So let's try not to forget. Green. Orange. Red, orange, was it? So green. Orange, red, orange, green. Orange, red, orange, green. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 days of recording, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. So look, hey, if we just want to compare, like, just an overview, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 green days. Instead of 2, we've doubled the green days. Okay, this is the entire thing that Charlie was talking about in terms of days and efforts like compounding over time. We have officially more green days than mediocre and bad days. That's a massive achievement in my books. I feel like I should be proud of myself. And for that, I think I'm gonna give it a. I mean, it's a majority, so I have to give it a 7 out of 10. It's a majority rule. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 green days and three bad days. So yeah, it's looking like, and because of the oranges are being like mediocre, they're not being terrible. So yeah, I'm really proud of that. So for my tips for the next week, I really need to focus on this morning stream thing. That has like a main priority for me, I think. Try to get more of a social and business balance. Yeah, I guess I need to understand that before I go out and see my friends, I have to get this stuff done before, you know. And yeah, things I was proud of. I'm happy I started, you know. I really am, because look, I can see dead in front of me clear progress. That was last week, and this is this week. So yeah, 7 out of 10. Things that went well. I see a clear. Please, like, why can I not spell? Clear improvement from last week, and got more content done. What else did I do? I'm proud of. Probably made more notes as well. Wait, also deleted tick. Is it TikTok or is it TikTok? I think it's TikTok. Yeah. Deleted TikTok. Did my 100 press ups. That means this can be eliminated off the to-do list. Boom. Run 10k. This can be done in my free time. Run 10k can be done tomorrow. You know, that's a good way to kick off week 3. Get a physical win in there. You know. Did my 100 press ups. What did I do? Oh, I studied. Oh yeah, studied a fair bit. Not loads, but better than nothing. Also came to. Also, wait. Maybe just had a big eye week. I think this is some good things to be proud of. What else? What else did I do? Oh, I also ate my meal. Sorry if my spelling's really bad at the moment. My forearm's like actually cramping up so bad. My right forearm is like tweaking out. And that's the one I'm used for my mouse as well, so it's pissed me off. Ate my meal prep every day. Went to training. What did I do? What I could be proud of. Completed all the action items that Charlie asked me to do. That's about it. And things I could improve on. Or like remove out my life. I mean, I've already done that. But waking up earlier. I mean, for those that don't know, I actually wake up at 6 a.m. But if I wake up at 5 a.m., then it gives me time to like a stream for an hour, just before college. Waking up earlier. Try to get an hour of work every day, because we did unfortunately have a very bad day. We didn't do anything on the 12th, but yeah. So no off days, baby. Oh, also maybe I could work more in yeah, so I probably could work more just to get my money up a little bit. What else could I do better? What else could I do better? I mean, everyone does it, so I'm just put it on here just because I probably do every now and then, and even if it's just now and then, it's not good for me. Try. Oh dear, I'm gonna butcher the spelling. Procrastinate. Oh fuck, it's going to shit. Yeah, I don't know how to spell it. This is really awkward, but
procrastinate.
Alright guys, I think we got it. Try not to procrastinate. Oh fuck, big. Why is it black? Okay, why is it white? Okay, there you go. So my arm, man, fuck. Okay, I think this is. Oh wait, also, there's just something that I've realised, like, just in general, my notes are definitely a lot better. Like, my notes are more, like, clear. They're more, like, they're not all over the place. They're not, like, weird and, just weird and messy and screenshots and, yeah. But I'll fix it all up another time. But, yeah. Just add that on the little end. How do you spell Nita? Is it like Nita or is it Nita? I don't know. Yeah, it is NEA. Nita. And guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up here for the end of week 2. It's been a good week, as we can see. Could always be better. It's not perfect yet. Also, wait. What was I gonna say? Start next stream. I'm slap it down here. I'll delete it after, but start no. I think this is a good idea because remember what Charlie said. He doesn't really want us reading 50 books a year or whatever it is. Just, you know, we got to get this stuff right, and if we can get this stuff right, then we can make money. It's all here. Everything we need to do, everything that we need to make money it is all here. I do believe. Hopefully, I don't know, but that's what Charlie told me. So, not told me, but that's what Charlie told us. You know. So yeah, maybe this is a tip for everyone. I mean, just to remind everyone. I mean, you already said it, and that's how I know. But like, you know, don't go out looking for new information. Just remember the information that you've got in front of you, and you'll be able to do something with it. What did he say? He said like that he used like an actual example. It was like, what was it? It was like information that's not remembered has no value, or like information that's not applied has no something like that. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think this is it for tonight, guys. It is. Oh, I did just type all of that up with my phone on my desk because I was recording the push-ups on my phone, so I kind of left it on my desk. But yeah. Okay. This is it for Friday night. It's 10:14 p.m. It's finishing pretty early. I still get a good amount of sleep, and hope everyone sleeps well tonight. And week 2 starts tomorrow, Saturday morning. We got this, guys. We got this. And to anyone that tuned in tonight, I mean, thank you very much. If we really want to take a sneak peek in my YouTube analytics or whatever it's called, I probably got a total of 3 viewers all time. But yeah, it's I'm not doing this to get views. Really, I'm doing it for myself, just to look back and be like, hey, I did something. But anyway, good night, guys. I will see you tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon at some point. And